Hang on.
We are live here on Plus 20 XP's Roll
Let
for
me add
Content
Orange Wasp to
channel.
my district real quick.
We are talking about Slayer's RPG. We are specifically deep diving into the rich lore of each of the districts in Slayer's RPG and talking about which ones have Outback Steakhouses. If they don't have Outback Steakhouses, where do you get the Bloomin' Onion equivalent of whatever is served locally? So that's a very important part of Slayers, as everybody knows. If you're not familiar with this channel, this is not normally how we start, but it's not abnormally how we start. We usually start by me saying, welcome to Plus One EXP's Roll for Content channel. My name is Tony Vicinda. I'm Chief Alchemist here at Plus One EXP. We're a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard, and skincare alchemy in the Bardic College of Content Creation. Our hope and desire is to help amazing designers find great players who love their game and help amazing players find great designers whose games they can love. We do that in a lot of different ways, but hand down, absolutely 100% my favorite is sitting down with the designers of those games to play them. We have returning to the channel because it's a designer whose games I absolutely love. Love to have them on. We've got Spencer Campbell. We're going to be playing Slayers tonight. Spencer, before we get started and introducing everybody else, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, where they can find you online, but also tell us a little about Slayers.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Spencer Campbell. My pronouns are he, him. I publish under the name Gila RPGs or Gila RPGs. And I made Slayers, which is the game that we are playing tonight. The easiest place to find me online is on Twitter. So twitter.com/Gila RPGs. That's got links to all my stuff. Tonight we're playing Slayers, which is going alongside the Kickstarter that we have going up next Tuesday for the Slayers Almanac, which is going to be a cool supplement book full of awesome districts written by people much cooler and awesome than me. So I'm very, very excited about that. And I also, let's see, anything else? I recently launched a Patreon. So if you're into that and you want to get all of my stuff that I ever release from here on out, that's a good way of doing it. You can back for as little as $1 and get it all. So throw a buck my way, maybe. That's all I got for now.
Awesome. And there's a link in the description if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. I also just dropped the link into the Twitch chat for that. It's also right down below my face right here. You can go to ttrpg.link /almanacks to stay up to date on all that. Spencer, if somebody hasn't gotten the game yet at all, are they going to be able to get the core game with the Almanac KS? Are you going to have a bundled deal? Is it going to be a giant book? What can people expect? They're like, I need this and I need it all. Should they just wait for the Kickstarter?
Yes, for the Kickstarter, you can add on the PDF, the digital version of the Slayer's core rulebook onto your pledge on any tier, and you'll get it at a discount too. So if you're thinking about picking up this game, don't go buy it on itch right now. Just wait 3 days until it launches. And we'll send those codes out right when the campaign ends. So you'll get your Slayer's copy right away, and then you can read it, get all excited for it for when your Almanac copy comes later on.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, let's meet everybody else, and then we'll dive into play. Coming back to the channel again, one of my favorite people to sit down and play with. I just went back and rewatched the first time Vic was ever on stream because I'm rewriting that adventure because I have to print it and send it out to a whole bunch of people. And that is Vic. Vic, tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online.
Hi, I'm Vic Priano. I go by they, them pronouns. I am a brand manager, game designer, and I am online everywhere at major_tomorrow. And I, for once, will not be playing a monster of grubby bathroom delving proportions. But I'm glad that that's the bar I consistently have to live up to, Tony.
I love every character you ever played, but a lot of them have been grubby bathroom divers, and so awesome. What's the best place for people to find your stuff?
Major_tomorrow, and that's MAJOR_TMRW, and I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Patreon, where I give a lot of treats over there. That's the treat zone.
The treat zone. Love it. And then let's hop up to somebody who has an amazing voice. Just from hearing them hop on, I just want to have them back on all the time so I can listen to them. That's Kevin. Kevin, tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online, and what you're up to.
Hi, I'm Kevin. You can find me. My pronouns are currently he, him. You can find my work over at winconditions.com. That's NGUYEN conditions.com. And you can go find and report all my accounts on Twitter, Instagram, and etc. at @knit_knack. You can also find my work in the upcoming Slayer's Almanac, where I'm writing one of the districts. I don't know if I'm cool to say that. Spencer, thumbs up seems good. Cool. Yeah. I can't remember if we announced that yet. It's been a day. Yeah. You can also find me over on twitch.tv/allnerds here as regular cast on the Wednesday show with the Disaster Crew and all POC cast, including one other person here who I will let introduce themselves. And we are currently on hiatus, but we will be back after the holiday season playing another game. Maybe some superhero action. Who knows? That's a leak I definitely was not supposed to say, but there it is.
Live here first, breaking open all the secrets. I'm super excited about it. And then, let's go to that other cast member. Rue, tell people who you are, what you do, where people can find you online, and generally what you're up to.
Cool. Just have to wait for some background sounds to disappear. Hello, everyone. I'm Rue. My pronouns are she, her. I do a bunch of different things in tabletop. I am the producer at All Nerds here. So this past season, I produced both of our shows, which were both all BIMPOC, and should be back to producing when we are finally off hiatus. I also do game design, have a couple of games out on at rue7.itch.io. And my Twitter is at cherrydrop, where you can find all my other fun stuff.
Awesome. Are you contributing to any anthologies of content that might be coming up next week?
I think I am. Yes, that was another thing I should have added to this. I am also part of the Slayer's Almanac, awesome group of writers. I will be contributing a district. I'm very excited.
Awesome. I'm super excited to play. We also have kind of an unseen, I guess, sixth member of the cast tonight, because we're all playing classes by somebody who is not here, who I don't know well enough. Spencer, can you tell us a little bit about the person we're playing, who created all the different classes we are playing that we all happen to kind of randomly select separately from each other and just happen to coalesce as one designer who's doing it?
Yeah, it was one of those. Oh wait, did I mute myself?
Nope, we can hear you.
I'm good. Excellent. It was one of those things where when I was letting everybody know, like, hey, choose whatever third-party class that you want for Slayers if you're interested in that tonight. It was like one person after another was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. I'm thinking about doing this. And I'm starting to pick up a pattern here that basically everybody's super into Final Fantasy. First of all, is like the vibe we're going for. Everybody is choosing Slayer's classes that have been designed by Angela, who's one of the other contributing authors to the Almanac. You might be familiar with her stuff with Slayers because she ran the Janice campaign on the Off the Table stream. It's a really cool campaign in a cool district about like the cycle of rebirth, and actually so that district is coming to the Almanac. But Angela has also made, I think, 17 classes that are inspired by Final Fantasy, and so those were a natural draw to the players tonight. So I've never seen them before in action, so I'm really excited to see them.
Awesome. Well, and I will go grab Angela's itch profile and drop that in the chat for folks also too. People can go follow their work if they want to as well. With that said, we use safety tools here on the channel all the time whenever we're playing. The standard one, if the system doesn't have another one that it suggests, is lines, veils, in the X card. Lines are things that may happen in the world of our game but don't happen in the course of our game. Veils are things that may happen in the course of our game but they're handled in a very specific way that we'll discuss as kind of we go through, but we may go past them very quickly, just not dive too deep into the details, whatever it happens to be, or we may address content in a certain way. The X card is the ability for any player at any time to say X or type X or message X to our Discord or to Spencer to let us know we need to pause. We'll only ask what the issue is if it's unclear. There's no explanation needed about why you don't like it, and then we'll move forward in a different direction without that content. It could be because of confusion, or could be because something bothers you or you find it objectionable. So with all that said, we have a strong line against sexual violence here on the channel. Does anybody have any other lines or veils that they want to add in to the conversation?
I personally have a line on frogs and toads.
And then I will be adding at least a veil, although it can be pushed up to a line of eye gore and eye injuries in general.
Support that one.
Like I said, we have one
No
strong line against
snakes.
sexual violence. Spencer also has one against snakes. So I'm not allowed to do any weird snake stuff, I guess.
I'll just be living in the nightmare zone the whole time if you do, but we can handle that.
Awesome. Well, with that said, Spencer, I'm going to hand things over to you to take us into Slayers.
All right, lovely. So I'm going to set a scene here, and then after I do, I want to meet our fine slayers here for the evening. So welcome to Wicker Park, not the Chicago neighborhood. It's a district of fire and ash. There are lanterns that idly swing from posts that line dark lit streets. During the day, the locals hustle and bustle around. They're living their lives, but at night, everybody scurries home to the safety of their homes. Throughout all of that, night and day, in the center of the town, you can see the eternal bonfire that roars all day, all night. That bonfire is protected by the Order of the Blaze Eternal. They observe the lantern ceremonies at night. They make sure that people can safely get their way home. And lately, it seems that something has been drawn to that bonfire and seems to be threatening the Order's ability to perform their sacred duties. They believe that if the flame ever goes out, the district is going to die with it. So they've hired you, Slayers. You are monster hunters, after all, and they believe a monster is responsible for this. They want you to track down whatever this threat is and snuff it out. So you are those Slayers, and I'd like to take a moment to meet each of you. So the way that the city in Slayers works is it's a series of districts that are almost little microcosms of on their own. They live sort of independently of one another. And as you move from one district to the other, you could be going from one place that it's wildly different than the place you were in before. So we're seeing sort of the transition period as the four of you travel from one of these districts into the next. And I want to kind of like stop the camera on each of you here for a moment to get a sense of what you look like, a brief introduction of who you are, your Slayers' names, a little description of who they are. And then I've got like a question or two for you after you've given a description of yourself. So as we start to pan over, Kevin, who do we see?
We see a heavy set older gentleman. They're dressed in pretty simple garb and sort of, I think, walking up the street they are sort of helping themselves along, like walking along with this long cloth covered tall object, which if this were a show would be it's very obvious what it is. It's some sort of weapon, some sort of pole arm. Clearly it's a lot heavier on one end, and they're walking around barefoot, and they have what's it called, shorn sides and long top with like the knot at the back, and they've got they've got patchy stubble. Like clearly they think this is a thing that looks good on them, but it doesn't. And Fan is their name. They use they he pronouns or they him pronouns.
Excellent. You said Fan is the name?
Yes.
Perfect. Excellent. Well, I have a question for you.
Yes.
You all are leaving a district and heading into this new one, into Wicker Park. What was the last district that the four of you worked in? What was like the vibe of it?
The last district we worked in, it was really advanced. It's like, well, the mood and the tone, let's say that. It was like noir-esque, almost like fantasy noir. Like everybody's trying to scheme, trying to get ahead, but they keep failing, and it's just like it's a constant cycle of like scrabbling for scraps, but like never really getting ahead, and this constant tension of really just the struggle of capitalism, basically, with cigarettes and really cool blue ambient light.
I love that. Wonderful. So the camera pans over and it stops again on our next Slayer. Rue, who do we see? Oh, sorry, I caught you mid-drink.
No, you're good. Yeah, the next person we see is like a fairly tall, dark-skinned guy. He has a trench coat on that looks like it's seen better days. It's like kind of a beige colored trench coat. Doesn't look really stylish, and everything is kind of unkempt. Like all the belts and things are loose in a way that might look cool on someone else, but on them it's like a little oversized and just looks like they just grabbed it. They have like a few mechanical things tied to the back of their, like kind of slung over a shoulder, that they keep adjusting, and they look like really nervous. They kind of keep darting their eyes from side to side and look obviously like kind of uncomfortable just with themselves, like just like existing. They seem pretty just pretty anxious, and they're kind of flipping through a little notebook. They have if we like zoom in a little bit, they have like ink stained fingers that they're like flipping through, and kind of they seem to be going through like a little like personal checklist.
What's the Slayer's name?
Oh, their name is Anand.
Anand?
Yeah.
Cool.
And their pronouns are he, him. And
Excellent.
They have a pair of glasses on that they keep kind of like pushing back up, that are just a bit too big for their face. So they have to keep adjusting them.
Excellent. So we've heard a little bit about the noir district that you all were coming from. What were you hunting? What were you all hired to do while you were in that district? And how did it go?
Ooh. I think we were hunting a monster that shapeshifted. So it was something that would start off as kind of mundane items. So at first it just seemed like things were just out of place or getting lost, and then would shapeshift over time to more like dangerous, intrusive items. So it would go from like a piece of paper that you thought you'd seen and now is like under your desk or under your bed, and then like as time went on would become like larger and more like venomous and like start growing arms and legs. And
this is an amazing monster.
So
Terrifying.
we were tasked to try to both like get rid of the ones that were there, but to also identify what around were these monsters and like get rid of them before they became worse.
Oh God, there were more than one of them.
Either that or people just got paranoid and we're just like,
right,
stab this stack of papers. Maybe it's a monster.
Amazing. Wonderful. So again, our camera continues to shift over and it stops. And Vic, what do we see?
You see Mirren Brimwood, and
Mirren?
She has glasses that are probably double the size of my own. The glass itself is probably 2 inches thick. You would notice features if it weren't for the glasses being overwhelmingly large. She has very, very crooked teeth. The buck teeth are very, very prominent. She even has a cute little space in them. Her hair has a few twigs in it, and she has a very large jacket that seems to be hiding several flowers that keep poking out here and there. Every time she kind of adjusts or struggles a little bit, a few of them kind of fall out along the way. She doesn't really mind, though. She almost is allowing them to exist in her way as like a charity to everyone around. Oh, and she also talks like this as a general just to know a little bit about where her tone is. That tends to be how she speaks.
I love it. Excellent.
You cannot tell her age because of how big her glasses are.
Perfect.
Like she's either 20 or 70. It's unclear. Too many things are like amplified.
Amazing.
It's a little bug.
So we've learned about these shape-shifting monsters that you all had to deal with in the previous noir district. It sounded like it was pretty dangerous, pretty stressful hunt. What is something that you learned about yourself as a result of the hunt, or something that you learned about one of your fellow slayers that you didn't know before that was revealed through that hunt?
That I am far-sighted, but not nearly as far-sighted as I need to be when something comes flying down at me. So I guess what I've learned is some spatial awareness for the range of abilities that my dear friends have.
Excellent.
And we've apologized, I imagine, and we've accepted what happened, but like I'm still a little bit nervous anytime that large point thing, the staff thing comes out. It's a little intimidating.
All right, wonderful. And our camera pans over to our last Slayer, Tony. Who do we see?
So as it pans over, we see as we kind of transition in, like these almost smoldering logs that kind of crisscross across the path, and we see looking at him, you can almost smell the ocean air around him, even in the middle of all this kind of ashy space. Deep blue eyes, brown hair. Looks to be in their late teens, probably around 17, 18, with a large hook kind of spread over the back of their shoulders. And they're not paying attention at all to where they're going. It seems their nose is stuck in a book, but they are definitely navigating across these beams and these logs in a way that looks like they should be falling down. They've got a satchel with a whole bunch of weird odds and ends to it, attached to it that are hanging down, also almost like cargo netting that has been thrown over the side because the hole was too full, and so you can see kind of books bristling out of the inside and other things that most people would probably care more about hanging off the outside.
And what is this Slayer's name?
His name is Colin. He uses he/him pronouns.
Did you say? Sorry, can you say that again?
Colin.
Colin, gotcha. Colin. Excellent.
Classic fantasy name.
Classic fantasy name. Colin. So we've learned a lot about this previous hunt so far, but let's think a little bit ahead here. What have you heard about Wicker Park? What's like a rumor that you've heard about this district?
Yeah, I have heard that there is that this district actually is the spot, like the fire that they refuse to let go out is the home of an ancient fire spirit, and some people think that it actually spawns monsters also too.
Cool. Very cool. Excellent.
Yes, Eldritch Mouse, all these badass slayers, and Colin.
And Colin. Wonderful. So we've met our slayers. The four of you enter into this district, and yes, I imagine the vibe changes pretty drastically because before you were in a noir zone of, I don't know, just constant paranoia based off of what you had to deal with, but also like shades of blue are replaced with shades of red and gray as ash and fire kind of become the themes of this new district you move into. Now you have been hired. You have a specific person that you are there to meet with. So you've been told a particular location to go and meet this individual. It's like back in some alleys, it's on the edge of town or the edge of the district, and it's back through a kind of a spider web of alleys. You meet a woman who is keeping to the shadows. You can tell from like her stance and the bit of her face that you can see that she's on the younger side, but it's difficult to tell because she wears kind of a heavy hood that covers her head. She tries to wear relatively simple clothes that allow her to blend in, but you can see underneath, like kind of peeking through some of the clothing, is a rather dazzling looking uniform of like golds and reds. She looks at the four of you as you approach, and she doesn't leave her spot. You can kind of just see like the glimmer of the gold coming off of her shirt with the light of day that's still going on. And from her shadowy location, she goes, "Were you followed?"
Yes, I followed Colin, who led us
What?
here.
And then she looks at you, Colin. "Were you followed?"
Apparently.
And then she looks at like she kind of like just goes and looks around at each of you. "Were you followed? Were you followed? Were you followed? Were any of you followed?"
I tend to leave a trail, but hopefully they just picked it up and I was not followed.
Okay.
This energy is like
Wait, are
starting
you
to-
picking up what she's putting down, or I don't?
Did y'all pick up what I was putting down? Because if not, we were probably followed.
Was it this? And I just hold up a twig.
Yes.
I got one of them.
Well, if you've been followed, then we don't have much time.
Nope.
You're the Slayers, right?
For legal purposes, yes, this is true.
Okay. I've never met a Slayer before, or honestly seen one of you before, so I didn't really know what to expect. But
How would you know?
Your pleasure, I'm sure.
Do you need some help with the seeing of the Slayers? Because you can borrow mine.
She kind of like looks at you and she's like, "No, I think I'm okay. This is a lot. It's a lot for me to process, and it's a stressful time here. Welcome to Wicker Park. I'm sorry, I should be more welcoming. Welcome. You've chosen a beautiful time to come. It's bright, it's beautiful, it's daylight, which means we don't have that much time, though. I've hired you because you hunt monsters, right?"
Yeah.
For legal purposes, yes.
Okay. Well, legally, I need you to kill a monster for me. I don't know what you require in terms of payment. I'm sure somebody in town can figure that out. But I don't really know how this works. What? And she kind of like fumbles for like stuff in her pockets to like pay you. Like you can hear her like rummaging for coins, and she produces like a rag that's covered in like it's soaked in blood. And she holds this out and she goes, "See, there's monsters here."
I kind of quickly sweep the napkin, the rag, the towel, the blood-soaked piece of cloth out of her hand and kind of like hold it up to the light and just kind of look at it to see if I can tell anything about it.
Yeah, it's really not the entire thing is soaked through. There's just a bit of like blood and like a portion of it. It's really fine material. It's beautiful. It's like this extremely clean white color that has been sullied by this now kind of darker looking blood. Like this is not a recent stain. This is dried blood in this. And you can actually see a little bit of gold filigree on like the border hem of part of the rag that she gave you. So you can tell that it was something of value.
Anna approaches her. It has picked up this nervous energy and is also already pretty nervous, but is now like amped up in this like nervousness, and like just pulls out like some papers and is like, "Sorry, I'm Anand. But this isn't too forward, and like this is our usual invoice," and like kind of just like awkwardly like like cups her hand and then puts it on there, and then like realizes that's kind of weird, and then but doesn't know how to get out of it, so just stands there.
Yeah.
On the legal liability forms too, please.
Oh,
Don't forget.
like, pulls out like a crumpled up paper, and it's like, I'm sorry, it got crumpled.
You can see that she has no idea how this works. So she like takes these and she looks them over like for just a second. She goes, I can get this to somebody who could probably like take care of this. But can you start now? I promise you will be compensated. And she looks over the form and she goes, this seems I think we can handle this, no problem. But could you get started now, immediately?
Anan just like starts to pull out a gun and is like, yes, and, like shakily. Is, like,
Anan. Please, a time and place.
She said now though. Okay. Like kind of goes back with the rest of the group, but is still like just really slowly loading up his gun.
Right.
Well, if we could just quickly go through this questionnaire. So where in which did the first incident take place? Who was witness? And did you have these witness statements then notarized? And if possible, is there any evidence in which you could provide of these incidents? And
wow. The attacks, they're attacks. They've been happening mostly on a street that we call the Flicker. It's just it's a popular street. It's a well populated street too, which I that's what's so confusing to me. But nobody's seen what's gone down. It happens. You see, it happens at night. Folks around here are in their homes at night. They don't come out. The only people who are out are members of the Order. And so the victims all have been members of the Order. Most of them have been found in some degree of, it's gruesome, the next morning. So nobody has witnessed anything, but plenty of people have seen the bodies. At least lately, we've been sweeping the streets to get them off the streets before anybody can see them.
no one is out at night. Absolutely no one besides the Order.
Oh no, I don't see why anybody would be out at night.
Kind of surveys the area and looks for the nearest teenager.
You hear some kid playing a game off out
I'll never go to bed.
That classic teenage rebellious yell.
The cry of teen.
Teenagers constantly yelling their plans at the top of their lungs.
I'm running to the store right now, even though it's closed in 5 minutes.
Youths. Yeah, she seems insistent that nobody's out at night.
Okay.
It's Order policy.
Yes, and everybody, of course, follows policy.
Well, everybody just knows that if they fail to follow the orders, that they threaten the bonfire. And if you threaten the bonfire, you threaten everyone. So nobody would do that.
Yeah, you gotta follow the Order's orders.
It must be so nice to live in the one district of the city where everyone is a law-abiding citizen and no one breaks the rules at all. What a idyllic life all must have here.
I heard it's because they throw people in the fire if they disobey.
Who told you that?
What?
Who let the secret out?
Seems like you struck a nerve there.
I want it on record. Put it on your paper here that the Order does not burn people.
Anand writes it down.
Not. Yes, emphasize people.
Right.
But I mean, is this like a the fire burns them, but the Order doesn't thing?
You've solved my riddle.
Yes, yes. Good technicality catch, Colin. Very good.
No, we don't burn people. We protect the fire, and why would we burn people? People are a horrible source of fuel.
Well, fat tends to be a pretty good fuel.
They burn for a long time, but yeah, they don't burn away completely, and they do smell horrible.
People would know if we burned people.
Well, they would all be burned.
I don't know what. Am I on trial right now? I thought I hired you to get a monster.
It seems we found one.
All right, everybody, roll for initiative.
Society is the monster.
Society has 1,000 hit points. Begin.
Chip away.
I attack with rhetoric, and
Oh, it's super effective.
It takes
Rhetoric
4
does
hours,
nothing.
and it's a giant turtle.
You can tell that she was nervous before, and now she's like especially nervous and like agitated. I don't know how slayers work. So maybe this is what you do. But I assure you that I'm doing everything I can to help you, and that I myself and the order would not do anything to threaten the people of this district or anything like that. I wouldn't hire slayers to come in here if I was worried that we had something to hide.
I mean,
well, that's not suspicious.
yeah, I mean, it's happened before. So whose was this? And I've now tied the bloody like cloth off around the edge of my satchel. And like whose was this?
That was one of the order's lamplighters, responsible for the lighting of the lanterns at night.
Why would you need lanterns at night if no one is allowed outside at night?
The lanterns are lit with the fire from the eternal bonfire. It is a blessing that we put in front of every home.
Ah, I see.
Cool. Yeah. Is there any place where there hasn't been a fire lately? Like, is there any place that has been, like, when they try to take? Has there been you said mostly on Flicker Street is where people have been?
Yes.
So have those fires not been getting lit then?
Of the homes?
Yes.
Yes. Unfortunately, whoever finds the body the next day, there are some homes that don't get the blessing that night.
And we're still saying there isn't any sort of malice or anything going on in this town. Because, like, if somebody's walking around and, like, snuffing these out, there might be somebody out there doing that. That might not be a monster.
Well, I suppose there could be somebody snuffing out the fires. I just had assumed that it was a monster that wanted to stop the lighting. But
Oh.
I'm not an expert.
Maybe he's like the opposite of scared of the dark.
Scared of the
Like-
light.
Scared of the light. Oh, that would make sense.
What has that done to property values in the region?
They're plummeting.
I mean, if those houses
Plummeting.
aren't getting that
Now,
fire and
it's-
everyone's dying on that
It's
street,
a
it can't
buyer's
be
market
good.
on Flicker Street. I'll tell you that.
If you need a good title and escrow company, I can recommend one.
Yeah, do you have a card?
Batman hands over a card.
And
You do
is-
absolutely have a card.
Dan doesn't care.
You're flipping through the
Nobody
cards you
cares.
have to figure out
Yeah,
which
I'm
one is the
So
like
title.
many
old school
cards.
Rolodexes, like from the 80s.
But they're all just
That's
your
like-
name with different titles.
I also work as a notary in some districts, but not all of them.
Excellent. I will let you know. Perhaps after the monster is taken care of.
If it's a monster, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Has
If it's a
anyone
monster.
seen this? So no one's seen this monster?
No. Just the bodies.
Okay.
Could we see the bodies?
If you'd like.
Maybe we'll be able to find something out from there.
I can bring you to where they're being held, but you'll need to give me a little time to prepare. Full transparency, I work for the Order. This is disguise.
No.
And she like takes off the hood and everything.
The fact that you were saying "we" all the time.
Oh, no.
Oh,
I've never done this
no.
cloak and
Oh.
dagger stuff before.
We're so
okay,
surprised.
Wait, you have daggers?
she's just so many daggers lining her body.
Inside the hood.
Just
I
the
feel like that's a
dagger-lined
breach of our
hood.
contract of first blush meetings. I don't feel comfortable anymore.
We have a
or-
limit.
The
of how many
Order
daggers.
didn't hire you. I'm hiring you. The Order doesn't want you here.
Why would the Order not want us here?
You're monster hunters. You would then be giving away to people that there's a monster about.
Well, I'm going to go back to, like, in this district, do y'all have some sort of secret way to look at somebody and know if they're a Slayer?
Well, it's just you all have weapons.
You have weapons.
I forgot. She's covered in daggers.
Just
I
also
have
Welcome
give
to
us cloaks.
the company.
It's true. You have flowers. I apologize. I assumed by association you were a Slayer.
You be careful, they might change colors and then become a weapon.
It would do you well to recognize these biological weapons of mass destruction.
I don't have a weapon right now.
It's just people around here. It's a simple life. We don't need weapons around here. So
Well,
Says
okay, but I'm going to point out a
Edgar
bunch of people have
Pace.
died.
So
Like
you
all
keep
we
the
did to
daggers
fight the
for
monster in
fun?
the last district was to deconstruct the capitalist concepts that it had built up its mimicry around, and that's caused the entire thing to fall apart.
it's a small district. People know each other here too. So like they recognize people who don't live here.
Oh yeah, who is that? And points to the teenager again.
That's Steve. Everybody knows Steve.
Steven. Like motion
Steven
Steven
looks at you.
Steve to come over.
Steve is like coming towards you. We can see in the background that she's trying to shush him away, but he like sees you and he comes over. Hi.
Steven, where do the youths hang out at night?
We don't go out at night.
Stephen, we
And-
just heard you yelling in the distance that you were going to be going out at night.
That's just a game we play around here.
What are the rules of this game? What is the win condition of this game?
It's a very complicated game. It's going to take me a long time to
Does it
explain
involve
it.
polyhedral dice and you have to roll a 4 or higher on
Yeah, how
whatever
did you
dice you
know?
have? To,
Or is it token trade?
I like token trading. One's better.
I don't understand. We don't go out at night.
And do you eat your vegetables and also brush your teeth, Steven?
Well, yeah.
This
Stephen,
place
what's
is
your favorite
unnatural.
vegetable?
Asparagus, probably.
Yeah, this town's wrong.
I think they're all monsters.
It's the
Perhaps the fire cleanses this district, and we should allow nature to take its course.
I will say something a lot of people don't know is that they will steam vegetables or eat them raw. Raw is fine, but roasted vegetables are actually quite delicious. So
Right. I don't know
This
why you
story
wouldn't
may
eat your
track.
vegetables.
No, this guy definitely boils them.
Oh.
how do you cook the? What's your
Everything
favorite
is
way to
boiled
prepare
over a pot.
asparagus?
Everything is boiled in a pot that it's fueled by the eternal flame.
What kind of spice and flavor does the Eternal
I don't understand the question.
Oh no.
What's your opinion on liquid smoke?
Am I in
You see the
trouble?
rails? They're like that way.
Did I do something wrong?
Here,
Can I?
here, eat
The
this,
fact that
and
you
I
haven't
hand
done
I hand
anything.
him some like dried seaweed to eat.
And he looks at it, starts eating it. Oh wow, Thanks.
All right, he's weird, but I believe him.
He's just a weird child.
Are you all moving into Wicker Park?
No.
Definitely not.
Oh,
Is Wicker Park where new people move in, or is it just like empty right now?
well, there's some people who come join from time to time. It's not often, but every once in a while we get some new folks around here.
This seems like the town in which many children move away from to begin their adventure.
Oh,
You know what?
you
Now
mean
that
like
now
Ohio?
you mention it.
Oh,
This next door is this real wild noir town. I don't know if you've heard of it. Yeah, well, it's been really nice meeting you all.
Before he goes, can Anand do a quick study on
Yeah.
them to see if they've been lying at all?
Yeah, absolutely.
He is a monster.
Yeah.
So
Anand wants to perceive if he's a monster.
go ahead and make a study roll. So what size die do you have in study?
Only a D6. But
For folks who are new to Slayers, how it works is you roll a bunch of different sized dice in the game, but the core rule is anything that is a 4 or above that you roll, that's a good thing. That's a hit. So the D6, you got a 50-50 shot.
yeah. We'll see if Anand is too nervous to
Sure.
catch any signs. Oh, exactly a 4.
Nice. Yeah.
Hey.
You can tell that he is, for the most part, shooting straight with you, but that he's being a little cautious with his words because there's a member of the order right here, and so it's not that he's nervous around you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you probably caught his eyes darting towards her behind you after he answered every question.
Mm-hmm. Since you mentioned Wicker Park, is that where you live, Steve? Wicker Park, or you live on? I guess the only other place I know of is Flicker. That place sounds cool too.
Oh yeah, so Wicker Park is the name of the whole district.
Oh, gotcha.
And so Flicker is just one of the streets in this district.
Okay, then I will amend my question. Do you live on Flicker, Steve?
No, I'm not on Flickr, but I hear it's a nice street. That's where all the fancy homes are.
Well, I mean, the property values are declining, Steve. So you've been thinking about moving out of your parents'
I
house into a
have
place of
been
your own?
thinking about moving.
It's
Do you
never
have a
too
car?
early to invest in real estate.
I don't. I'm not a real estate agent, but I do have a friend who's an excellent one. He can give you his card.
Yeah, so Steven awkwardly takes your card and then starts roboting backwards because he doesn't know how to get out of the situation.
And yells, "I like you, Steve. You're cool."
Thanks. And then he starts running off. Well,
Turning
now that
back
you've-
to the quest giver.
that-
So how are those bodies coming?
Well, I was going to go get them, but
Oh,
and
was
then
that? Did we not give you ample opportunity while we were speaking with the young child?
I didn't know if we were done. I'll get right on that. Just meet me in the alley across the street from the Order's headquarters. It's right there in the center of town, and I'll find a window that we can get you inside to take a look at those bodies.
Okay.
This feels awfully circuitous.
Well, it's just again, the Order doesn't want you here, so I don't know. I mean, if you
so
want
are
to
we just
go
giving
straight
you
in,
enough time to go inside and open a window?
I mean, I can open a window, but I gotta make sure that nobody's inside inspecting the bodies right now.
Okay.
Just give me 5 minutes.
Sure.
She
We'll give you
dons
five.
her dagger-filled hood, and then takes off out.
That hood can't be comfortable.
This district cannot be comfortable.
It is warm here.
Yeah, it is warm. You do notice that it is warm, and there is sporadically. It's not like a constant heavy fall, but ash will just occasionally like fall onto your arms or like hit you in the head and stuff like that. So there's a constant sort of source of ash, as if it's just raining out of the sky. Not downpouring, but just the occasional little flake falls down and hits you.
I imagine the rate of asthma is very high in this area.
Yes, it's horrible. So she's gonna go get that window taken care of. Is there anything that you all want to do before that?
I want to go talk to Steven again
Yeah.
and get some real answers.
I was trying to figure out where he lived without being like, kid, where do you live?
I was 100% ready to be like, you can't ask that question.
Yeah, I was like, I can't say it. That's so weird. Especially being all like weird and nervous. It'd be so scary.
But you're best friends now. You called him cool.
I did. Anna just like the robot walk.
Yeah, he's very into dancing.
Steve's the best dancer in the whole district. That's his whole thing. Yeah, I mean, we can jump to like you going to check out the bodies if you want, or I just wanted to give you the opportunity to check something else out if there was a particular path you wanted to go down.
I mean, we can walk down Flicker Street to get there since it's in the center of the city.
Yeah.
Bacon
Yeah.
Okay, I was
Apocalypse
thinking
also
like we
says
were
can
already
take-
by the headquarters. So
Bacon
Yeah, you
Apocalypse also suggests we could take Pollution Street, but that hasn't come up narratively, so I don't know that it's the best idea.
Oh, that's where the final fight will be. Excellent. So you start going down Flicker, which is just like it's this kind of slow bending curve of a street, and like Steven alluded to, there's some nice homes around here. It's a busy street. There's lots of folks who are out and about because, like I said, it is daytime, so people are out and about. They're either going between errands or going to work. But there's a decent amount of foot traffic as you walk around. Is there anything in particular that you're looking for on Flicker?
Bloodstains on the ground, in memorial collections of flowers and pictures.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me a study roll if you want to get like a sense of what's going on this street.
I rolled a 9.
Okay. So you can tell that like this place is pretty scrubbed down. In fact, what you do notice is that like for a town that has ash raining down all the time, like this street is clean. Unlike the street that you like had just been on, which sort of has a dusty ash blanket on it. There are patches of the street that are just clearly scrubbed clean recently. And one house in particular, you notice a lantern. Every house has a lantern in front of it, like off right along the street in front of the house. And there's one lantern in particular that you notice a bit of blood stain that didn't get washed off. Like all the others are like perfectly, immaculately clean and taken care of. But this house has a bit of blood still on it.
I hold out the bloody handkerchief I got just to check and I'm just kidding.
It's the same
It's
blood.
the same blood.
you taste it. You taste the lamp.
Man, I almost said I taste the blood, but I did not say I taste the blood.
This is when Colin reveals that he's a vampire.
Is it it's up high then? Is what you're saying?
The lantern?
The blood spatter.
Yeah, so like the lanterns hang a little bit high so that people would need to like use like a little bit of a torch to light them. But you notice that kind of like just on the bottom half of the lantern, there's some like a streak of like older blood there. And it is older and dried. Like you could have sworn that it probably was like dirt or ash, but on second glance, it does look a little like older blood, not fresh.
And is there any pattern? Like, does it just look like they're getting to about a certain part of the street before they're getting killed, or is it up and down the street?
From what you can tell, the clean spots all radiate around this lantern.
And is it just someone's house?
It's just one house. It looks completely empty.
I mean, I'm going to go up and knock on that door.
Oh,
Okay.
Like you should also probably have something in your hand, like to offer. Like, what if they think that you're somebody delivering something, and it might help? People don't open the door to strangers.
So if
I've got this, and I just held up the bloody
Oh, no.
handkerchief.
oh no. Yes, you go up and knock, and I think everybody else would notice. Everybody walking on the street is kind of like slowing down their steps and like watching. They're not like stopping and gawking. That would be rude. But they are like slowly trying to watch out of the corner of their eye as Colin approaches this house.
I wink really heavily at one of them.
Yeah, they immediately do that thing where if they had a phone, they'd look at the phone as if like, oh yeah, I got a text right now, that they walk away.
Oh crap! Phones don't exist in this universe. Scurry.
And then they evaporate in a paradox. So you go knock on the door and there's nothing, no answer or anything like that.
Is it unlocked?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just store that information away and come back for it later then.
Yeah, you test the handle a little bit and it opens up for you like it would give.
If we knock 3 times and there is no answer, we are legally allowed to enter any residence.
Someone
as
could
far
be
as
in
I
danger.
understand.
Ed is an expert in legalese.
It's like class. If the professor doesn't show up in 15 minutes, you can go. Except the other way around. If you knock 3 times, you can just go in.
So you're just gonna store that away for now, Colin? Did you say?
Yeah, just like this is we can sleep here tonight.
Okay.
Do the houses on either side of this house, the abandoned house, do they look occupied?
Yes.
Fan will invite Mirren. Mirren, would you like to accompany me to interrogate one of these other residents?
I'm definitely not going to interrogate them, but I could be there and act like I'm selling something.
Ah,
Sorry,
yes,
I'm committed to this bit. Like, these people seem really suspicious. I feel like we need some sort of subterfuge.
I pass the bloody handkerchief over to you.
Ew. But she takes it.
So you're
I
going
will
to
follow
one of the
your
next
lead
door
and
neighbors?
incline to duplicity. It's up to you.
Is there anyone on the street at the moment that's crossing by to one of those houses up by any chance?
Like one of the
Steven.
next door neighbor houses?
Yeah.
Yeah, Steven is there.
We found
We all know he doesn't live here, so.
Could I perhaps use
Loitering.
street?
You want to ask somebody on the street a question?
Yeah, I wanna use street.
Oh, you
for
want to
the
use
street?
streets? Okay, yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, go ahead and roll streets.
Street on the street.
What are you looking like? Who are you looking for? Like, what type of person?
I'm looking for somebody that like they would open the door to, perhaps.
Okay.
A little bit more. I'm not using a person. I'm not trying to find a body. That's not what's going on here.
Sure.
Vegetable salesperson.
I got a success there.
Excellent. Yeah. So you find somebody who is like they're coming home, like they've got a small bag. They clearly have just gone like grocery shopping. There's just a bunch of spears of asparagus sticking out of the top of the bag.
One
and
baguette.
Just one baguette of asparagus, which is the standard vegetable of Wicker Park.
I love asparagus, just people don't know how to make it.
It's on
I
the
also like
flag.
asparagus.
I love
just surprised
asparagus also.
Teenagers like asparagus.
Oh yeah, super into it here. You can see that he is on his way, like to one of these houses, like the neighboring houses, like looking for his, like he's standing in front of the door, like fumbling for his keys to get him to unlock the door.
I kind of gesture to kind of sneak up behind or to the side so
Yeah.
we can watch the interaction in its earnestness.
Then, as he goes into his house.
Yes, I want to see if he's suspicious about anything, and then we'll double check that moment before he closes the door and be like, see if he double knots it, and if not, I'm gonna very gently push my way.
Okay. Yeah,
Sometimes you forget.
he goes into the house. Like he's just coming home from some errands right now. And like he even like he like tries to kick the door closed behind him, and it like hits, and then it doesn't fully close, so there's just like a little bit of a gap, and he's off. He's got to go put that asparagus away. He's got to go prepare it, so he's got no idea that he's left this door wide open for you.
Alrighty. So, thoughts on staking out? One of us staking out the area. Bad idea. We should just talk to him in his kitchen. I think that's a totally normal thing to do. Be like, we saw your door open and we're not from around here. We heard there's monsters. We're just checking.
Oh my
Sir, would you like to buy some asparagus seeds?
Boy, would I.
Asparagus officinalis is apparently the scientific name of asparagus.
Are you going into his home to go talk to this man?
Yes, and I think that is perfectly ordinary
Yeah.
Slayer behavior.
Yeah. He
You
would
break some of his
know.
vases.
Yeah. He,
Actually,
definitely-
dust.
like,
There was
do you-
chickens.
Do you announce your presence, or is it one of those things where you're like just standing there until he turns and sees you?
That one right there.
Great, perfect.
With my massive glasses and me just holding the bloody rag.
He's
Oh my
putting
God.
he's putting stuff away. He turns, gasps as he sees you. The bag drops, but he's got one spear of asparagus in his hand, and he's holding it out as if it is a weapon that he can fight you off with.
Spear, a noble
Bite
weapon.
it.
Who are you? What are
The
you
king
doing
of
here?
weapons.
I'm here because there's apparently monsters in the area, and you didn't lock your door behind you. I'm the new neighborhood patrol.
I haven't heard anything about a neighborhood patrol or monsters.
It happened tonight.
You came into my house.
Yes.
This seems
'Cause
very
you're in
unordinary.
danger. Sometimes you gotta get a little weird to get answers.
That doesn't track. That does not track. Okay. So I'm gonna ask you to leave now.
Um, did you know the person next door?
The Greys?
Yeah.
I knew them a while ago.
Was there anything suspicious about them, like me walking in, that caused them to get targeted?
No, they've been gone a week or so.
Oh, like gone? Like they've been away and then
They were chosen.
chosen
Yes.
by the order?
Yes.
Oh, so
Are you're the neighborhood watch?
We don't burn people here. Why would you say that?
any weird noises? I swear I'll leave you alone. I don't mean to bother you much more. It's just
What?
any noises?
From who? The Greys?
Oh yeah, anything suspicious about the Greys? That makes more sense. I'm sorry.
The family was chosen a week ago. The street has been a little noisy as of late. I just assume the order is not being as careful with the lighting ceremonies as usual.
Ceremonies, like when did the ceremony start? I know I'm taking up so much time in your house, and I know I'm not a welcome guest.
They happen just before dusk.
Great game.
All right. Do you have any questions?
He turns and realizes somebody else is there. Ah! This is very. I'm going to have to talk to somebody about this. I hope you understand.
What is the selection process for being chosen?
I don't know. I'm not of the order.
And what does it mean to be chosen?
To be chosen is to, I don't know. It's a gift of some kind. That's all I know.
Yeah, surprise gifts are the best gifts.
I just stick my head through the door frame.
My God.
If you got chosen, would you be excited or nervous?
I imagine a little bit of both. As a surprise is exciting, but also maybe something a little unclear. But it's the order.
When people get chosen, do they come home 2 weeks later like it was a nice vacation in a district that isn't on
Yeah.
fire? Or are they never heard from again?
Well, they don't come back, if that's what you're asking.
I mean, that is
And to
literally
whom
just
does the
what I
title
asked.
of their real estate pass?
the order then ensures that the house is filled.
Oh, this is a real estate scam. This is absolutely a scam.
Would you like a flower?
I would like you to leave.
And what is your name, sir? For the record.
For the record? What record? I don't know
The one of
any of you
note.
anything. You're in my house.
And what is the address of this home again, for the record?
Who are you people? I thought you were the neighborhood watch. You don't know this neighborhood at all. You don't know anything about
That
us.
is why we are watching it.
Yeah.
We don't know anything.
I don't understand this at all.
I was put
That
into
is
a
clear.
position.
Listen,
I need to act quickly.
are you all hungry? I'm cooking up some asparagus.
I mean, I could eat.
I'm flustered. I'm famished now.
That's my goal, but thank you.
So we have a montage of this man making you asparagus.
But we never get his name.
Nope. Never did it.
Don't know where we
There's
are.
just
Best asparagus we've ever had. We'll never be able to find this place again.
Fan during this montage will take up a seat at the table facing like a window or
Yeah.
leaving the door open, watching the street and watching to see if people really do go inside at night, first of all. And if there's any like suspicious activity that happens out on the street.
Yeah. Are you waiting
Yawn.
until night?
I love that we sent what's her face off. We'll be like, we'll be there in 5 minutes. Hurry.
Like a 5-minute.
That's why I wanted to wait.
And then,
But then
I
we just like we
decided-
went to like the other side of town or something.
Sometimes impromptu home invasion is the only way forward.
It is the answer sometimes.
You're sticking around.
We didn't get
until
her name
dusk?
either.
You did not.
We know Steven in that's it.
It was wait in the alley or wait and get a meal from a stranger that
Yeah.
doesn't know why we're in their house.
Yeah.
Who asked us y'all to leave and then was like, "Do you want?"
Do you just want food?
If you can't evict them, join them.
Just, I'll
Uh,
feed you, I guess. Is your intent to stay until dusk?
Vans is.
Okay.
Yeah. Anand, by the way, has not entered this space. At one
yeah,
point,
so-
did like go up to Colin in the window and was gonna be like, "Hey, ask about," but like Colin already asked about if they came back, and then they were like, "All right, whatever." And
Yeah,
they
I'm just
walked
standing in the
away.
doorway watching.
So yeah, I guess for those of you who are
So
outside,
Mirren and Fan are eating inside
Yeah.
while y'all are outside.
once you realize that like it's been a little while and there's a meal going on, do you go inside or are you staying outside?
Join the trap.
Can I get some of
please.
that to go?
And to
I
go
was
back.
told to interrogate.
Anand fully left after like hearing the one question that they wanted asked. They were like, "Cool, it's covered," and so Anand just walked away.
Gotcha.
I follow Anand then because I don't
Yeah,
want
I
Anand
definitely
to be
wanna
by
know where-
themselves.
Yeah, Anand like nervously is walking around. That'll be
Okay.
great. Yeah, I think while this is happening, because Anand's like, I don't know, this feels weird.
Mm.
Like at one point tried to pull up paperwork to be like, maybe there's a way we can smooth this over, and then as it kept going was like, there's nothing I
Yeah.
have that can fix this. I'm gonna just go away.
But that's also the thrill of being able to create a new form in the future. You know what I'm saying? Like this form
That's
doesn't
true.
exist yet.
The beauty
There's a
of bureaucracy.
A placeholder is put in make form later for when we invade someone's home and they give us asparagus.
I thought it was a good interrogation strategy, just busting into somebody's house and just asking them questions while standing there with a bloody rag. It seemed like I get quick answers.
This guy made a whole ass fucking fresh hollandaise, y'all, and y'all just like walked away. I don't.
It's amazing.
Anna does put in the note, works better than expected. Anna is gonna try to hunt, I think, and see if they can find any like clues or
Okay.
anything like
Yeah.
around the area. Like just kind of going from one
Yeah.
house to the other.
Yeah, go ahead and make a hunt roll.
Cool.
I guess we should roll dice at some point. right?
We actually have. I think we've rolled dice twice.
I think
now.
there's been 2
Yeah,
rolls.
twice.
But this is, in theory, a monster hunting game. But so far, it's going great as an asparagus game.
I'm giving this
Asparagus
like
jam on
5.
each one. Is that going?
I'm changing my district. It's all asparagus.
Oh my god, amazing.
Ooh, 7. Heck yeah.
Cool. And so you're looking for. Can you give me like a sense of what you're looking for?
Yeah, I'm just looking for signs that something has like been around these
Yeah.
houses that doesn't seem like human, or like I don't know if they're all humans, but like citizen stuff. Like if there's like footprints or claw marks or anything.
Yeah.
Like
So I think what you notice is that, again, like the street itself is very scrubbed clean. Like the order is clearly trying to make sure that this place looks nice. As you're looking around, I think like a stray piece of ash falls and hits you on the head, and you kind of look up as a result. And when you do, you're looking up at the gray house, the Gray's house. Oh, my dog just pushed her way into this house. Hello, Clover. You look up into this windowsill and you see this dog, and she's there waiting for you, but not really.
I stay there forever.
We stay there forever. Notice on this one windowsill on the second floor of the Gray's house, a couple of chunks of wood on the sill have been like clear lines, like claws or something sharp had like been used to like scale that spot right there. And the window is slightly open.
Ooh. Awesome.
That's normal.
Normal day in Wicker Park.
Yeah, Nanan does note it as like could be clue, could be normal things. Hard to tell here. But does kind of like if he sees Colin kind of like points up at it to show what they've seen.
Yeah,
And
Colin, you've seen the same thing. The clearly some sort of sharp thing used to scale this windowsill.
How like did they scramble like the siding? How like the windowsill is marred, but do we get a sense of like how they moved up the side of the house?
Yeah.
There's no siding or anything like that. It's a cobblestone wall, but like there's no like obvious handholds or anything like that would have been
and no
used
gouges in the
no gouges in the stone itself, just in the sill.
Adam looks over and is like, "Do you think it flies?" Because like thinking of where we saw the blood mark as well was like kind of in a higher spot, or is horrifyingly tall.
Or maybe it doesn't, maybe it jumps, or maybe it like maybe it kind of maybe it just like passes gas really hard and launches itself in the air, and which is kind of like flying but kind of like jumping, and then or maybe it just is good at climbing too. How high up is the windowsill?
It's a second story of a house.
So like 10-foot stories.
Yeah.
So I would like to try to pull myself up there, if possible. Things I have working in my advantage in this situation is
throw them at me.
Well, one, I spend a lot of time on a ship, but actually the fact that the thing I have as my weapon / in my description is a long spear with a hook on the end, which I think is pretty good for hooking onto something, then hauling myself up.
Oh yeah. Go ahead and make an agile roll with advantage because you got this sweet hook.
Sweet hook. One of the things I've learned playing OSR, nothing's better than a spear, except for a spear with a hook on the end. Agile. Dude. I beat 4 on both of them.
Hell yeah. So you get up to the windowsill. You watch Colin do this sweet hook climb, and you're at the windowsill, and once you get there, like there's a gap in the the window is open a little bit. You do hear hushed voices on the second floor.
Oh,
So which house was this? The empty house?
Yeah, this is the empty house.
I listen to the hushed voices.
It's hard to tell. You can tell that there are voices somewhere in here. The reason it's hard to tell isn't because they're far away. It's because there's very heavy breathing just somewhere in the room that you are that if you went through. Something, it's very dark. It's hard to see, but there's this heavy, 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 loud breathing.
There's heavy, loud breathing somewhere inside. People are talking.
Anand looked so concerned, just extremely, so weird.
I'm going to take the edge of my spear and try to pop it up underneath the windowsill and leverage it open.
Oh yeah, I mean it opens up really easily.
And are there curtains or anything?
No, not here. Not on this particular window.
I gotta stick my head in a little bit and look around.
Yeah, so it's dark. What you can see is that there's a little flicker at a doorway. In that direction, there are the voices, and then in this in this room, the only window is the one that you're in. So there's no other sources of external light. You see a massive shape in the corner, up and down breathing.
Cool. Hey, so the whatever's breathing really heavily, it's in here. You want to come up?
Yes, Anand was at first making a little pile of leaves in case you needed to jump down really fast.
Amazing.
It is entirely too small to be useful at this point, but they're well, it's there. And then kind of just puts their hands up and is do it. You're gonna let me just?
Yeah, I'll extend. I'll extend the gruesome point of my hooked spear down to you.
Are you telling your friends who are in the asparagus house about any of this?
Anand writes a note and paper airplanes it inside. Then what does the note say? It's heavy breathing in house, going to investigate. That's all. And then flies it in and hopes it reaches them.
Yeah, it hits the guy in the back of the head as he's preparing the fourth course of this meal.
How cryptic.
Fourth course?
Candied asparagus.
There's multi-courses.
There's so many
for home
courses.
invasion?
There's nothing else to do. Can't go outside. So
Because as soon as there's not a course, you have to face the
Now
reality
I feel
of
like
what's
I
happening.
shouldn't leave.
Yeah,
This guy's just
honestly.
alone in his home, but I have to make sure they don't die now.
yeah, so it hits him in the head and he goes, "What was that?" And there's a little piece of paper. You both read the note that says heavy breathing in house.
Going to investigate.
Going to
Has
investigate.
a little seal that you all know is Anand's seal.
Heavy breathing could mean many things.
I think most of the things it ends up meaning are things that I need to be around for. Like, let's say somebody gets hurt,
Not gonna
somebody
lie,
doesn't get hurt and just gets slightly uncomfortable.
we promised people Final Fantasy vibes. I'm not gonna lie, this feels like the first hour and a half of playing Final Fantasy VII. For sure. You're just riding trains back and forth, having conversations with your family.
My mom once said.
That famous part of Final Fantasy where you eat asparagus.
That classic scene.
Or ramen.
Yeah, what do you asparagus folks do with that information?
I'm comfortable excusing myself, but I feel as though I need to give him the parting gift of one of the roses in case he's up next.
Yeah, he seems really, really appreciative of the rose.
He also seems rather lonely. 4 courses for people that break into your home? It's
Yeah, he's got an awful lot of food for somebody who lives by themselves.
So
Apparently.
much food. He has so much food.
oh.
I just
Poor
want bread.
person. Now I
But
feel really bad for this.
he really
person.
appreciates. You can tell he really appreciates the rose, and he understands that you have to leave. And is actually, you can tell, relieved that you have to leave.
That's what makes me truly be able to go.
His goal was to cook the course consistently throughout the entire night until you left, or it was dawn and he could leave. So
Leave us in his house.
yeah.
At least he didn't want us to die.
This
the
is the
two-
most fucking
the two of you go out-
RPG shit ever.
I know this poor person like trapped NPC trapped in his house. He's
Two
walking
of you
into
go
his wall.
outside.
This is one of
It's-
Spencer's Sims characters. We just
He's been needing to go to the bathroom for like 4 hours.
But he won't go. It would be rude. He's not allowed to leave. So the two of you go out. It's getting darker out. You were waiting a while, but so the two of you leave the asparagus house and do see the two of them propped up, like ready to go into this house. What's your plan?
well, I'm pretty sure there's a monster.
I
in
approached
this
the
room.
front door.
Okay.
It is unlocked. We did establish earlier. You can't
Yes.
just walk in.
Fan will knock on the front door.
Yeah. So you knock on the front door, and both of you that are upstairs hear like a startled noise, and like the voices stop.
They stop like Spencer's Campbell.
Yeah, I was about to make that.
Did I
There you go, you're
freeze?
back now.
I'll
You
get
did for a
back.
second.
Beautiful.
This is a stutter.
It looked like you all were really listening intently to what I was saying.
I mean, we were.
There's like the voices kind of like there's a startle sound, and then they stop, and then the heavy breathing in the room, you hear it kind of like stops for a second, and then it gets back into its pattern, and then somebody starts to go down the stairs. Like you can hear like the sound of the creaking stairs to the front door. Fan, you notice somebody like looks at you through a window, like a pane in the door, looks you up and down, and then opens up the door.
Hello. You have been chosen.
Now I know you're not order, so
Oh, I didn't say I was in order.
This individual looks like shocked, and he goes, "Listen, I don't know what you want. You go away. You forget what you saw here. We're gonna be fine." And he's got a knife in his hands.
Oh well, if that's the case, we will require compensation for services, of course. And Fan slowly unfurls the cloth around this giant fucking glaive that they've been carrying around.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I think it's. I mean, this guy's gonna lunge at you, so I think it's time for us to roll roll initiative and figure out some turn order here.
Sweet.
But I thought we only fought monsters.
Well, as zombie fiction tells us, humans are the greatest.
Humans are the real monsters. So Spencer, just so everybody knows, we are rolling our speed dice now.
Yes,
Is that correct?
You roll your speed dice, and whatever that is, shout out that number to me, and that lets me know where you are in the order.
1.
All right, Mira.
Well, I did about 50% as well as I can, and I got a 2.
Excellent.
I also get it too.
I got an 8. The highest I can roll.
Woo. Very fast. Excellent.
Speediest boy.
Wonderful. So like it's gonna go down. I think like you would have seen Fan like unfurl the spear, so I think you have a sense that like shit is going down here, and like there's a conversation going on that you can clearly hear. You are definitely the first to go.
Cool.
What would you like to do?
Um,
As just a refresher for you and for everybody at home, what you all can do is that you can move during your turn. So go in like a direction, like close a range band on some particular location or target. You can use your attack action, which you'll have to teach me what your attack action does, or you could use a quick action. You'll have to teach me that one as well, or a skill. you can use any of the skills in some way that
Okay.
as you had been using them before.
Cool.
And we can do two of any
You
of
can do
those,
any two of those things.
but not the same one twice.
Correct, unless you have some sort of advance that allows you to do them
Cool.
twice.
Okay. And from where we are, I forget, did we actually enter the space, or we just Muppet hanging from?
In my head, you were Muppet
think
hanging.
my
but-
mental fiction was that I had gotten inside and then lowered my hook down over to be able to pull you up.
Okay. Oh, that does make sense.
So
It
you're
would-
just inside the window then.
All right, so we're in. Do we have any line of sight of what's going on at the door?
No, if you looked out the window, you'd see it just below you on the ground. But otherwise, you're on the second floor, and the whoever this person is on the first floor, talking in the doorway.
And there's a breathing creature in the room
And
with
there's
us.
a big breathing
Ooh.
creature in this room.
That is true.
And in the next door room that you can see, there's a candlelight of some kind of flickering light, and that's where the voices were coming from.
Okay. And I think my first thing that I want to do is actually see if I can roll tactics.
Yeah.
If I can pull out the right thing. Okay, there we go. Yeah, and I just kind of want to see if I can figure out the lay of the land and figure out the best places for everyone to be.
Cool. Let's see that tactics roll.
6.
Cool. What you can tell is that this room is like a dead end in the house. So, like the only way in and out of this room traditionally is the door where those voices were coming from, or the window behind you. So you know that if you want to get anywhere, you either got to go jumping back down or through that doorway. You can also tell, because you're kind of getting a lay of the land, that thing is still breathing, like rhythmically, but there's a lot of movement going on in the room next door. And like from what you can tell, there's quite a few people in there.
Okay. Yeah, in that case, just because I don't know what's going on with the breathing or the people, I don't necessarily want to attack anything without seeing it. I just want to move as close to the door as possible, maybe even see if people aren't right outside, then I might try to be at like where the staircase is or something.
Yeah, you get to the door and you notice inside that there's a bunch of people arming themselves.
Oh.
They're all dressed in kind of like darker clothes. They have a golden like rope-like cord tied around their waists. And they are all like in the process of arming themselves, looking nervously in another direction, clearly another door that leads down to that stairwell.
Okay. Do the clothes look like what the person we first met had?
No, these are totally different. Like they're not fancy. They're like just like kind of whatever dark clothes that they could wear. Like they're not it's not a uniform. The one thing that unifies them is that they're all wearing this gold rope of sorts around their waists.
Okay, cool. So from there, I think I turn and let Colin know like what I've seen, and then just kind of stand at the ready.
Cool. Fan, this guy's gonna try and stab you. So I'm gonna see if he can try and give you a little bit of a slice and dice, and he misses. So I think
What a shame.
probably a little intimidated by the size of this giant glaive spear thing that you've unraveled compared to his little like kitchen knife that he has.
Yeah.
But he tries, does his best.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Valiant
wild.
effort.
It's not even like a stab. It's kind of just one of those like flailing, slicey things as he like tries to walk backwards away from you just a little bit. Then you see 3 more of them coming down the stairs and like surrounding him. So now there is a pod of 4 of them here at the bottom of the stairs near the door, all brandishing knives.
Wonderful.
And Fan and Colin are both tied, so you can choose who wants to go first. Slayers get choice in ties.
Colin.
Sure. I crossed the room.
Uh-huh.
Did you did Amon step out of the room?
Anand is still like within the room, just sort of like by the door, because there were people still in it. He didn't want to cross into it yet.
Cool. And when I kind of knowing what's going on, I'm gonna use my my quick action, which is called a thing that I know. It's called Soul Call, and I am going to switch my attack over to Surging Tide, and those are going to be my 2 actions this time.
Okay, cool. I'm excited to see what Surging Tide does. What you do notice, the 2 of you, like 3 bodies have left, but there's 1 person still in there, and they've pulled out like this, like extremely like dark, like obsidian, like stone, and are tracing something on the stone with their fingertip. Fan, what would you like to do?
Fan is going to take a. So mechanically, I could legally take a quick action and then an attack action. Is
Yes.
that correct? Okay, awesome. I will take a quick action jump.
Excellent.
Allowing me to use one of my jump maneuvers, and I will use a windstorm jump. Spear thrust can hit 2 monsters at engaged range, and oh no, 3 of them just left, huh? 3 of them just chase Colin, or
No, they're all in front of
Oh,
you.
okay.
You got all 4
right?
of them in front
Okay,
of you.
perfect. No, exactly what I wanted. Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna move and leap in between them and do a big spin with my attack, spear
yeah.
thrust.
Sweet. What do you roll to hit them with?
I use lance dice, and lance dice are d6.
Cool. So go ahead and roll, and then if you hit, let me know how much damage you do to these 4 kitchen knife wielding.
Yeah.
SOBs.
And passive actions is that something I could also do?
A passive action usually is just something that is ongoing. It depends on the class themselves. So, like
Okay.
for instance, the tactician kind of has like a passive thing that they do at the beginning that they can interrupt with, but I don't know how the worm guard works.
Right. Gotcha. I will figure that out later. Right now, big spin.
Big spin.
That is a 6 on the dice.
Heck yeah. All right, that hits. So you said you hit 2 of them?
Yes,
With
I
this
target 2 of them with this special jump, this windstorm jump.
How much harm do you do?
The Worm Guardian deals 2 damage with every attack.
Yeah, so you just murder 2 of these right away. Like, what does it look like as you cut them down?
It's the fan spins spins like straight in, lands, and then spins like a top, and then just beheads 2 of these people.
Just real quick, clean,
Yeah.
excellent.
We get like a really nice slow blood spray around the room in a perfect circle.
It's theatrical. It's beautiful.
Yeah. It's artistic.
Was that your quick action, or was that your?
That was the quick was the jump, and then the attack action was its own.
Cool, excellent. Mirren, you just saw some good violence. What would you like to do about it?
I shall support the violence.
Perfect.
With an ethereal rose is going to be my quick action, and that's going to be switching the rose for having a rose bloom, and it's going to be red instead of white. White is healing, red is damage, and with that happening, next time the damage happens for the next round for the passive action, I'm going to put 1 seed assigned to that who just attacked. So at the end of each round, they're going to get 1 damage.
Ooh, cool.
For the seed. And for my other action, I'm going to do an attack action, which is Will of the Planet. And I will be rolling 1 dice, a d10, and on hit, I'm going to be damaging with 2.
Okay.
And I did not pass, even if I had a d10.
Bummer.
It's all good.
So there's the 2 remaining in this sort of foyer area. We jump back up to the top. Anand, you're up there. You see the 1 individual doing something, sketching something onto like an obsidian stone with their fingertip. What would you like to do? Oh, I think
that seems bad. Yeah. So 1 person was left behind and everybody else went down.
Yes.
I guess Auden will try to figure out first what they're doing. They do kind of want to shoot first and ask questions later, but they're like, oh, but maybe maybe it's good to know. Maybe it has something to do with the breathing, whatever. So they're let me see, what would they roll for this? I guess study, maybe, to see what it is that they're
Trying to get a
doing
sense
in
of what
there.
this person is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, pick a study roll.
So let's 5.
Yeah. So what you can tell is actually what they're doing with their fingertip is they are like, as they're tracing it on this, like there's ash that's painted onto the obsidian stone. As they're doing it, what you notice directly behind you is that the breathing is getting like interrupted. Like it's like
Oh no.
it's clearly they're doing something to this creature.
Oh no. Okay, yeah. And would like to stop that. That's very bad.
Cool.
So they start like they're just like shakily putting, actually they've had this gun out, so they're just starting to load it up, and they're like shaking. They're like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm just really not into the violence part of this.
Oh no.
Being a gunslinger is really good. Great attitude to have.
Perfect.
So yeah, they're setting up the Aethril Desperado has 2 attack actions. They can either do their wildfire rifle or their little turret. The turret he's keeping down for now. So the wildfire rifle starts with the ability that it can only hit on a 5+, and then with every hit that happens, that number goes down.
Cool.
So it kind of has like the ability to burst as it keeps going. And let me just double check if they get to keep doing that, or if that's like every turn. Oh yeah, and roll another dice. So they could just like keep going until they've
hell yeah. Sounds awesome.
Destroyed.
Nice job, Angela.
Yeah, this is awesome. I love this. I also love that Anand kind of hates it.
Yeah, that's very good.
So let's see if we can get some damage. It is a 4. But I do think Anand does fire that shot, so it is very clear that someone is trying to do something, and they're just like, no.
Right.
It's like right off to the side, and Anand's like, aim first, then shoot. Damn it.
There's this like startled cry, but the finger stays on the tablet in front of this person. They finish whatever they were doing. As they do so, you're like standing in the doorway to shoot at them, right? Or like, as you do so, this like ashy screen comes up, and it just like as if there's a barrier between you and this room.
Oh no.
And you hear the like snuffing, like, and then the low growl and shifting of some figure behind you starting to stand up as they have finished waking this particular thing and have set themselves up in their little panic room while it's going on. Meanwhile, Fan, these other 2 are going to try and fight you. One of them like sidesteps you and tries to jump around you and get like you in a chokehold. So let's see if they can get you in that. They cannot.
No.
They are not good at this. Like I said, nobody in this town is good at this. Nobody uses weapons.
Because they have no hooligans. They have no culture of hooliganism in this town.
Exactly. So, this one individual, they have this hood on. They're sneaking around. They try and get behind you. You kind of bat them away with the end of your spear, and they go tumbling to the ground. Their friend dashes at you, tries to stab you with their knife. They do hit, so they will deal 1 damage to you.
A worthy challenge.
I would like to give them 1 damage as well.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
So there's this like, what does that look like as you give this sort of like retribution damage?
I feel as though it would be like kind of almost an allergic to reaction to seeds, because I like the seeding element of it, and I really enjoyed the way that they ended up doing live stream, and it's almost like a ethereal kind of like UFO kind of pull attached to the allergy.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
that's awesome. So they take the 1 damage. It's not enough to bring them down, but you can see that they're like knocked back and like they're like itchy, like they're itchy, like they throw the knife at the ground because they think like the knife is hurting them somehow, and like they're like, "What the hell did you do to me?" As they sort of like stumble back away from you. They didn't know that this is how fighting goes.
And so it says the target loses 1 HP at the start of their turn. So it would be the next time. Yeah, I misread that. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So yes, so they still freak out from the allergic reaction, but they will start to feel the burn next turn. Excellent.
I read the syntax incorrectly.
No problem. Cool. Fan and Colin, it's the two of you both at 2. So whoever wants to go first.
So I have slipped out past my good buddy at this point in time. Do the stairs just go straight down?
Yeah, they do. They go.
So this is like a landing room on one side, room we just came in, stairs that go straight down.
Yeah.
In a lot of houses at that level, there would be like railing that goes along. Either way, I want to post up over the stairs is my goal. So I just want to step out and like post over the stairs. Is that something I can do?
Yeah, absolutely.
Then I would like to like I kind of look at the pipes in the walls and kind of just reach out to the ambient water around me. And I make an emotional connection with it, and I summon a water creature, a water spirit in the room that now is blocked off to us by ash, that just starts filling it up with water. Now, I don't know if I have line of sight to that room or not, but I absolutely know that room is just on the other side of this wall. Yeah. So I feel like this should be a thing that's okay.
Oh yeah, like it's not like a completely opaque barrier.
Oh, perfect,
it's
even
like,
better then.
This smoky ash-like sort of barrier.
That's awesome because I'll read it out loud, then we can negotiate exactly how it works in this situation. I am using. Where is it? Surging Tide. It basically I roll and then I can do a near or far monster. So they're like right on the other side of this. On a hit, deal 2 damage and move the target 1 distance category closer to you. I'm not as worried about the damage though. I'm happy to kill this person in the other room. I actually just want to slam them into this barrier that they've made with all this water I flooded the room with.
Yeah. So this room gets flooded up with water. This person, we can't see it, or we can see it as the audience. They have no idea what could possibly be causing this. They quickly trying to sketch something on the pad, but the room fills up too quickly, and they get launched into the barrier. And we hear the crunch as their body kind of just slams up against it. And you can sense that room is filling up with water, and the individual in there they're gone.
Cool. And then I'm going to use my quick action to shift over to Splitting Wind. Also.
Cool. Fan, you've got one person who's like freaking out because they stabbed you and it worked, but it hurt them or is going to hurt them. And then one person who tried to strangle you who is on their butt right now.
Yeah. You know what? Let's put a little. Let's do an encore with a twist. It's going to be a quick action again with the jump, using the same whirlwind jump, trying to target the last 2 here, and going to make a spear thrust, but also using the passive action of Dragon's Might. You begin in combat with 2 dragon's eyes, and for each dragon eye you spend, you increase the size of the lance die you roll by 1 size.
Nice.
Then one of the tweaks on the spear thrust is that if I roll that at disadvantage, I get a special perk. So I'm going to roll a D8 at disadvantage.
Advantage? Okay.
And if I succeed, I get an extra bonus on this.
Come on,
Targeting
I want this
2 of these suckers. Oh, that is bad. That's a 3.
Oh. So you do this sweet jump in place.
Yeah.
And land back down. Yeah, I think I think it's one of those things where it's not even that you like miss swing, but it's that these two are bumbling so bad.
Yeah.
They're such poor opponents that like somehow it's effective for them.
They're truly
against you.
unpredictable. Yeah.
Right.
The person the spearmaster needs to fear, or the swordmaster needs to fear, is the one who has never picked up a sword.
Right, exactly. So these two bumbling fools somehow managed to survive this attack from you. Excellent. Mirren, you see, you saw the sweet jump attack. It didn't land. You do see these two individuals still up and about, wanting to hurt your friend. What do you want to do about it?
I'm going to will the planet and try to at least smack one of them.
Cool.
I got a 5. Yay. So that's going to be 2 damage.
Which one do you want to smack? The one that's got the allergic reaction?
The allergic reaction.
Cool. Yeah. So that person just. What does it look like when you murder this person with the planet?
I feel like it says will the planet. I imagine implosion related things make the most sense since I control the life force, or am part of it. It makes the most sense that it would be internal, not external.
Nice. Excellent. Yeah, it's pretty horrible. You are the monster. Actually, you all need to kill Mirren. Amazing. Yeah. So this person thought they were having a bad day just from the allergic reaction, and then they just implode. And they are gone.
They just become like a little seed pod.
Ooh, wouldn't that be neat?
Oh, that was all they had left.
They're just a little pod. That's all that's left of them.
I like that idea.
Anand, you're up top. You're blocked away from getting to this room, which is now full of water. But you're also in a room with something big, large, angry, and now awake.
Yeah. This room was all dark, right?
The only external light came from the window. So, and now that it is dusk, it's getting darker.
Okay. Yeah, I think Anand's gonna try to search around for a light source of some kind first.
Yeah, I mean, you can like just like you've been in here long enough that I don't think you need to roll for it. They keep this room dark. This is a barren room. There's like it has been stripped. It is just wooden floors and a thing in the corner.
Okay. In that case, I think Anand will try to move towards the window that we entered.
Okay.
Just to try to get a little more light from that area. Hopefully the whatever is in here will follow.
Yeah, you head over towards the window, and you can kind of track that this thing is like it's standing up and it looks at you, and then you see these large red eyes track you and follow you to the window.
Cool. Yeah, Anand's gonna try another shot. We're still gonna try with this rifle.
Nice.
So hold on, what do I? Oops. Yeah, so they're
still a 5+ to get it, right?
Yeah,
You're
still a 5+.
Cool.
Yeah. I think they're a little less nervous here because they're like, okay, well, this is a monster. This is what we're supposed to be.
I can shoot this.
Fighting. Shouldn't be trying to kill people. It's trying really hard not to think about the water filling up in the room with the other person.
You could absolutely hear it. Just this rushing water going on in the other room.
Just here's the person in the other room, and Anand's like, don't think about it. It's like Anand's singing a song to themselves.
Oh, that's nice.
How traumatizing for this person, hearing like this song while they're being drowned.
Yeah, it is definitely like some kind of kids song, like Ring Around the Rosies or something.
You all are the monsters.
Row, row, row your boat.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Just something truly awful.
Wow.
Gosh darn, it's a 4.
Oh, that's right. 4 is not.
The spider down the drain.
Yeah, so you again fire off this shot, and the creature, like in reaction, you see these huge wings like sprout out from its back. They had been folded, and they kind of splay out, and these huge red eyes stare at you.
Cool.
And it's its turn.
Oh no!
Because now it's awake. It goes flying and crashing towards you. You were right, whoever made the guess that it flies earlier. The wings kind of splay out, and then it, despite how huge this thing is, because like its head is kind of like, it can't fully like stand up in this particular room. It moves with incredible speed, and it flies across the room, and it hits, and it grabs you, and like flies outside of the window with you, and it drops you the second it gets clear of the window, and then flies and slams down onto the ground next to you. So you're gonna take 2 harm from the fall.
Wait. What about that pile of leaves?
Please make an agile roll to see if you can like somehow twist your body to fall into the pile of leaves. Please do.
So
No
glad
whammies.
for
No whammies.
I'm never one to let go of a narrative advantage.
So
I'm
good.
so glad I threw that in at the last second.
Amazing.
All right. Sorry, this was an agile roll.
Agile, yeah. 'Cause you're doing the weird video game thing where you're twisting your body and moving in midair to try and land on this.
Yeah. 2 small pile.
You've got to hit all the button prompts for this quick time event.
Yeah, exactly.
A 4, exactly.
Okay, it's just 1 harm. It's just 1 harm instead of 2 harm because you are still falling.
Awesome.
But we'll call it 1 harm as you land into this perfect pile of leaves. And then this creature lands down next to you. And then Mirren, you see your friend land in this pile of leaves, and then this giant creature looks at you, and you can see it in the light of day. It's huge. It's massive. It's at least 10 feet tall. It's covered in like a mix of like fur and like feathers isn't the right word. But it's this kind of like gossamer like material that like lines underneath the fur itself. It's humanoid in shape, basically, kind of, and it has these huge wings that are not like a bird but are more like a moth, and it stares at you with its red eyes. And Mirren, I need you to make a tactics roll.
Fantastic. And sorry, just double checking what I put in tactics. Awesome, cool. I failed.
You failed.
Yeah.
Your the next action you make is going to be at disadvantage as horror fills your mind at the sheer sight of this horrifying thing.
Ah!
Perfect. Excellent.
Just imploded, dude, and suddenly full of fear.
Honestly, that checks out.
Yeah, that tracks. The one other bandit will go because they do go before the rest of you. The golden cord individual has stood back up, sees that this thing has emerged. It is going to try and push past you, Fan, and just bolt up to the stairs themselves. So has no intention of engaging with you anymore, and gets to the top of the stairs, only to see that Colin is up there, and the ash barrier is there, and somebody is drowning on the other side of that ash thing.
I look down as my feet are spread above them, standing above and say, "You should move."
Yeah, so that's going to be that person's turn. Fan and Colin, it is your turn.
I'm going to, after I say "you should move," step back up the stairs and through that doorway, over, like slamming it behind me over to the window. And I'm going to use my attack, which is all of a sudden, like, we see like this outline of air appear behind me as we kind of get the vague sense of a face. And this spirit of like air has come across, and I'm going to try to use Splitting Wind, which I roll with advantage. And because I now have 2 points, my 2 and my 3 are actually successes in this class.
Amazing. Amazing.
I do have to roll twice, though, because I do want to try to hit this moth creature with both of these things, because that's 2 attacks.
Okay.
And that's a much better roll, and I succeed also.
Cool. How much damage do you do when you hit with an attack?
Each one does 2. So we see this like air creature appear behind me, and then like like we see air surge down one arm and then air surge down another arm as it shoots out and hits this thing. I would love to hit it in the wings and kind of batter it backwards. But
Yeah, I like that. So you batter it backwards, like you're shooting down this air down onto the moth man. And you also scatter all the pile of leaves. It's
oh
this very
no,
cool sight as all the leaves go flying from this gust of wind.
not my
But yes,
leaves.
but you do push back this creature, and it like goes slamming into one of the lanterns, and it falls and shatters. None of the lanterns are lit yet, but excellent, good. Fan, it's your turn.
Fan, being a worm guardian, would know that this creature is definitely not a dragon, right?
No.
Okay. I have no legal obligation to this creature then, I suppose. Well, in that case, if things are such, I believe I can. You know, let's see. So I am going to take a quick action and huck my glaive at this creature. I have starting out. We were able to get a couple basic advances, right?
Mhm.
As you make characters. One of the basic advances from the Worm Guardian I took was piercing throw. You can throw you can use your spear thrust at far range.
Nice. Hooah.
So I'm going to huck that. You know, I'm actually also going to spend a dragon eye to upgrade my die in order to do this. So I'm going to be rolling 2d8. Try to get that bonus again. Hopefully I don't whiff it. You know what? You wouldn't think, but there's another 3.
Oh, heartbreaking. So you throw the spear, and this creature, it's huge, but like we said earlier, it's nimble. It's quick
Yeah.
on its feet, and like flutters out of the way at the last moment, to get out of the way of the spear.
Yeah, it just goes in the neighbor's yard, and you can never ask the neighbor for it back. It's just
No, it's theirs
You
now
just can't,
forever. Yeah, it's
I gave
Steven's
you
now.
my
That's
spears.
Steven's
You
yard.
gave me your spears.
Mirren.
I am going to. I just sorry, totally different character than I regularly do. It just defaults. I think that I could have taken advantage on taking some seeds, but nobody's gotten hurt in the last few rounds, so there's not too much I can do for them.
Well, Anand took damage from falling.
Oh,
Yeah, I
from
took-
falling.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I was like,
no,
what?
no, you wait from falling. From falling, not
Yeah.
from, okay. So
Well,
I'm just gonna.
it's a
Fan
result
was
of the
attacked a couple
attack.
rounds ago.
Yeah.
No, I was just wondering if I could technically still trigger the monster from that, but it seems like that wouldn't work within the.
Oh, nobody got hurt by the monster. Okay.
Because if it's, yeah, I'm gonna attack with Roll the Planet again.
Okay. Try to float this monster.
Yes, and I failed, but I also double failed because I was already rolling with the disadvantage with that.
Not the double fail.
Yeah.
So yeah, you try and like you're too like your mind is reeling from seeing this particular thing. You've never seen anything like it, and so the will of the planet just doesn't manifest this particular time. We go back to the top of the order. Anand, you're in the remnants of a pile of leaves. Your back is probably a little sore because you got dropped.
Yeah.
What would you like to do? There's a big, scary creature. It was looming over you, but it has been knocked back by some wind.
Cool. Yeah, I think when Anand fell, they fell on their little turret and it just like dug
Oh,
into their
no.
back. They're like, oh, God,
Oh,
why do I keep it on my back?
my
And they got back up. So they're gonna try to go for this. Just shoot at it again. We're gonna try the rifle one more time.
Okay.
Because I realize I have a basic advance that lets me re-roll misses. So
Hell yeah.
We'll see if we can get it on this one. All right, yeah, that was a 4. So we're gonna re-roll to try another shot. Oh no, that was worse. It was a 2.
Oh no! Oh no!
Just wildly shooting.
Just blast in here.
One nearly misses somebody, like goes right by Colin. I'm sorry,
Steve
my
walks
back hurts
by.
so much.
Steve is actually out at night.
Steve, you're up.
Bastard.
Oh no, you found me. Steve is the monster.
Steve's the last cultist.
Steve
Get
is-
away.
Excellent. So you go, you go blasting off. It doesn't work. Do you want to like move or anything? Or you want to like stay where you are?
Yeah, I think Anand will try to move to whoever is closest to them, so that they can be
Probably
a little.
Mirren is closest.
Yeah, so they'll move next to Mirren.
Okay. Yes, the two of you back to back in the street. Excellent. All right. Well, the creature looks at the two of you. It dashes, it flies the distance close to the both of you, and it's going to swing this massive, what you now realize are like these clawed hands. They're kind of like covered in like it's not like claws themselves, but they're like these paws that are covered in barbs and just kind of like paws at you with these really horrible barb-like things, trying to like gut you with them. And it gets 1 hit, which means you're going to take 1 damage, and it's going to go for Mirren this time, because Mirren is doing some weird planet stuff, and it doesn't seem to like the weird planet stuff. Doesn't agree with that. The one bandit that is up in the house still is up there. And I guess the room is still full of water.
Yeah, they're in a hallway with a closed door and an ash door that it's slowly filling with water.
Drowning up there.
So they're really kind of thinking about what they're gonna do, and they just take a moment to really think about their life choices. What they end up doing is they produce a match from their pocket, they light it against the wall, and then immediately snuff it out. There's this small smear of ash, and then they quickly make a little sigil in it, and the ash begins to swirl on their turn.
That's not allowed.
It's the Colin and Fan show.
So I'm going to use quick action soul call to switch over to thunderous presence. So we feel like ozone kind of crackle around the second story window as all of a sudden lightning kind of arcs across my body, and we see this superimposed like skull-like face appear over me. I roll my invoker die to see if this works, and I do. That was 2 6s because I only roll 1 now. Hold on, let me re-roll. Okay, so I succeed. I do 2 damage, and I inflict thundercloud on the target. So this is the monster. The target, their next attack has disadvantage. This ends either after they attack, at the end of their turn, or at the end of my next turn, or if I do something else. But I will look at what that is.
Rude, but I'll take it. Excellent.
As electricity arcs across their body.
Nice. Yeah, so this Mothman is just kind of like stuttering in place as it gets electrocuted. Fan, it is your turn.
Fan, while this whole spectacle of magic and of electricity and planetary wills and gunfire is happening, and swinging barbed claws, Fan is very slowly walking across the battlefield. Just going to take a couple movements in order to go and retrieve their spear.
Yeah.
They just hucked real far away.
All right, excellent. So you can use your move action to go get to your spear, no problem.
Okay.
You have your spear now. You can still take another action if you want.
Okay, I thought because it was like 2 range bands away, I might have to use 2 movements.
I think we're fine with letting you just get there in one.
In that case, I believe I still have. Let me see. You know what? Nope, none of those jumps actually matter. So I will. Setting up for my next attack, Fan will high jump, just jump super high in the air. Like we get this shot of Fan like sort of getting the spear, like dusting it off a little bit, like like picking some leaves out of like the little fur part of the hilts, and like just crouches down real low, real squat. And like if there's a cartoon, like really get that real squish in, and then just leaps in the air super high, way out of frame.
Nice.
And like I don't think in the show, if this was a show, we don't get to see like where they go. It's just the still frame and then just go up.
Amazing.
And they will come back down eventually.
Fan is gone for now. Amazing. Yeah, Mirren, so
My planet needs me.
You see Fan disappear, jump high up into the air. You see this happen all the time. But Mirren, yeah, you've got this monstrous thing in front of you. It slapped you with its barb hand.
And due to its slap, I will say it's seated.
Oh yeah.
So next round,
it'll take some
it gets
damage.
a little damage, and I'm also going to, in my round, do a little heal over on, and also yeah, because there was that one little hit point of damage, and so I'm going to end up using Soothing Touch to recover that with Will of the Planet, because one of the basic advances is you can change damage dealt by Will of the Planet to HP recovered instead.
Cool. Nice. So you patch yourself up a little bit?
Oh no, not me. I don't want only Anand.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I need none of that.
Gotcha. Cool. Excellent.
That'll come in the future. The roses are still painful right now.
Perfect.
I'll switch the color when we need to.
Excellent. Anand, it's your turn.
Cool. So yeah, I think Anand's gonna try to do a tactics roll and see if he can get like a good like vantage point, like just a really good like shot lined up. He's like, I gotta hit one of these. So just gonna try to like really get like a good
to get you lined up. Yeah, go for it. Make a tactics roll. Get yourself lined up.
All right, so that is a 6.
We switch into Fallout mode where you can like scroll through the
Go
different
into
body
vats.
parts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anand just learned to ADS.
Cool. So I'll let you have
zoom.
take advantage on your shot then as a result of the tactics roll.
Awesome. Okay. So Anand's like, all right.
All right, aim. Okay, got it.
I always forget. Then I get yelled at. Like nervously looks at everyone.
Oh no, the team yells at you.
Who of us yells at you?
Whoever would do that.
He jumps when he hears Fan. I don't even see him where he is.
I can't disappoint Fan.
Overwhelming like meteor fear.
Right.
Ooh, I rolled that 5 first.
Hell yeah.
How
much damage? And then you get to roll again, right?
Yes.
And then if it hits on a 4+.
Yeah, so I don't know. Let me double check if it does damage each time. Yeah, so deals the damage, which is 2 for me.
Okay.
And then roll again, see if we get it with that 4. It was a 2.
Okay.
So Anand gets really excited, hits it, and just like, yes, I did it, and then forgets everything that he learned a moment ago. Just shoots wildly. I feel like somewhere out there, Fan is like, how?
I think it's okay because I think the reason the second shot doesn't hit is because the first shot is enough to take this thing down.
Oh.
So what does it look like when you kill this giant mothy man?
Oh man, God, I keep forgetting that it's kind of humanoid. It's so much, so much
Slightly
creepier.
humanoid.
Yeah, I think Anna doesn't register it at first, which is why they're like, I gotta keep
Right, just keep
going.
firing.
Yeah, I think that shot just kind of they lined up right between the eyes. It was just like those eyes have been looking at me. I'm not into it.
Huge red saucers are just targets for you.
Yeah. And just
Perfect.
like square between them. And I think it just kind of like kind of propels it a little bit. That like rifle shot has a lot behind it, so it just like knocks it over.
The head kicks back, it falls. The second shot goes flying past. You didn't expect it to fall. It drops. And the combat ends with that. That was the last combatant. So go ahead.
Isn't there still the bandit?
We have
He's
some
in there, I guess.
The bandit
if you
is
wanna go
doing
kill
something.
him.
I do.
I don't know what the bandit is doing.
The bandit is just in there hoping that you have forgotten.
Oh well, I know you said he had started doing something ashy inside.
He did a little thing, and there was like a little wispy ash that like happened and then disappeared. But he's just kind of hanging up there. So I guess I'll just let you all decide what you want to do with the bandit.
So I want to soul call and switch over to Thunderous Presence. Sorry, not Thunderous Presence, Surging Tide. And I want to reach out to my water spirit friend who's in the other room behind this thing. And I just want to pull them one band closer to me.
Okay.
So essentially what I am proposing here is I want to try to pull the water in that room and what is blocking it, which is currently that shade, out into the stairwell and flush that guy downward.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're able to like pull the water through. The ash barrier kind of has fallen, or it's like deteriorating quickly, and so now it just like breaks away. This guy gets hit by a tidal wave, falls down to the bottom of the stairs, and is terrified.
I would like to ask a question.
I'll open the door and be like, I told you run.
I tried. Yeah, Fan, you want to ask him a question?
Well, I would like to ask you, Spencer, the
Yeah.
GM question. How do we feel about crashing through houses, like several stories of a house?
I think it's great.
Okay, great.
Honestly,
I would
I'm
like
a
to.
big
I would
fan.
like to just land with a spear thrust on this dude from the fucking from
Hell
orbit.
yeah. Absolutely.
So being so high, having done the high jump,
Yeah.
having seen the curvature of the Earth,
Yeah.
coming back down, that seems like a pretty unnerving jump. So I'm using another quick action for another jump maneuver. So
Nice. Yeah.
that lets me roll an additional die
Perfect.
for this. And I'm also going to
Please don't
still try and roll it at disadvantage.
God damn it.
Remember when Fan used to be a member of our party?
If you fail this, you stay in orbit. You're going to just slowly float around the planet for the rest of your life.
Oh, a 4. Just barely made it.
Ooh, you survive. Yes. So you come slamming down. What does it look like as you come crashing down?
With unnerving jump, I sacrifice 2 HP to deal 3 damage, which makes sense coming down from orbit. So I just crash down, take a lot of damage, a lot of splinters, and just like absolutely just squish this person as they're speaking to Colin.
I go, I told you to run. He goes, I tried.
It's just a 2-shot of Colin and this bandit speaking, having this tender moment of like, I tried. And then all of a sudden, Fan is there where the bandit was. And there's just a lot of blood on the walls behind.
As that happens, we get this shot where we see standing in the doorway of the house next door, the asparagus man is out there with a lantern looking at what's going on, and he sees the crash and he gasps and drops the lantern in shock. And we cut to black from there. We start to see the credits of the show roll. as the Slayers begin, and we see like the credits starting to roll as you all kind of take to the next parts of your job, which would be like cleanup and figuring out all of this. But as we see all of the cleanup and next steps as you inspect this mothy man, we get a scene in the Order's HQ where a family has been called in. They've been chosen, and they're brought into a room. And there in the room is another one of these large black obsidian panels. And somebody stands in front of it. You haven't seen this individual before. They're wearing a large mask in the shape of the sun. They are sketching out. And as they sketch it out, we see the family kind of look, gasp, and then they shrink into tiny wicker dolls. And we cut to black.
Because they don't burn
I
people.
think I froze.
You did for a second. It'll be fine. You'll be okay in a second. That was a
Oh
good
no,
phrase.
I
There you go.
froze.
And such dramatic points too.
I don't know what you heard.
Uh,
Awesome.
Oh no, my
they
point.
turned into little wicker dolls.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It cuts to
No, no,
black.
we heard
Yeah.
your audio never froze, just your video.
No, yeah, it was just your
Yeah.
video. You just gotta
Oh,
stick to
okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And
So-
I think that's a
We don't
good
burn
place to
people,
end.
yeah.
That is excellent. So we do a thing called Reaction Roll where we talk about the game, but we also have been playing for 2 hours and 18 minutes. So I just want to check in. Does anybody need a 5-minute break before we chat for about 20-ish minutes about the game? Or
I
Good,
need to
good.
just because my battery is gonna die soonish. It'll probably die if I go for another 20. So
then
I need
let's
to just-
take a short break. Also, if you're out there watching right now, if you need to take a break, take a break. Take care of yourself. We're going to take a 5-minute break. We'll be back right after that to do our reaction roll and to talk about what it was like to play Slayers. But we'll be right back after this.
Cool beans.
We are back here live on Plus One EXP, finishing up our actual play of Slayers, and we are going to hop into our reaction roll. Reaction roll is a live stream within a live stream. It's our chance to sit down with the creator of a game that we just played and talk to them about our experience of play and ask them questions. If you are joining us live right now, you can ask them questions also too, or type them in the chat later on if you want to. But today we are playing Slayers with Spencer Campbell and actually a whole host of people who are going to be part of the upcoming Slayers Almanac Kickstarter project. But with that said, Spencer, for people who are just joining us, who this is their first time to hear about Slayers, tell us a little bit about Slayers.
Sure. So Slayers is my monster hunting role-playing game. In it, you take on the role of monster hunters in a city that has been cursed to expand infinitely towards the horizon. The thing that makes Slayers special is that each class leans into asymmetry, meaning that they each approach combat in a very different way. Oftentimes, every class has their own set of rules so that you really feel like you are playing the role that you want to play in your team. It's rules light, so it's pretty quick and easy to learn. And there's also a ton of really cool third-party content out there, which we saw tonight with all of the amazing classes that you all got to play. So it's a near and dear game to me, and it's about 1 year old now too.
Yay! And is it award-winning and award-nominated? Correct.
It is. It was nominated for 3 Ennies this last year, and it won the Indie Groundbreaker award for best rules.
Awesome. Well, I had an absolutely phenomenal job playing. I'm going to go ahead and hit the link in the chat where you can check out both the digital version, but also you can sign up for the Almanac, which is really launching in a couple days. And if you haven't picked this game up yet, the best way to hop into it. Spencer, before we hop over to everybody else, tell us a little bit about the Almanac project and what y'all are hoping to do with that. What's the concept behind that?
The Slayers Almanac is a setting book for Slayers. In it, I have found 10 amazing authors, designers, writers from the indie RPG scene who have pitched these really cool ideas for districts. So inside this book, you're going to get 10 districts, which are sort of neighborhoods of this infinite city. In those districts, you're going to find cool things like NPCs and factions and rumors. It's sort of like a travel guide through this cursed city. On top of that, the Almanac is going to have really cool, beautiful art and hex maps made by Mike Riemann, who, if that name is familiar, he did the art and layout on Dust, which was the last Slayers supplement that went out. So it's 10 awesome authors with making a really cool travel guide to this spooky city.
Yeah, we've got a little layout sample of the district of Slayers Row that I'm going to pop up on the screen right next just so people can see that. And we've also got this beautiful image of somebody hauling a big old bag of something towards a giant mouth too. Some beautiful art from the upcoming project too. So please, if you haven't yet, go ahead and visit the link over there. Check that out. Would love to have y'all hit follow over on that so you can be day one or day whenever backers of that project. But it would be awesome to see some support for that. I'm very much looking forward to it and can't wait to hear what everybody else thought about the game. Let's start out with Vic. Vic, tell people who you are, what you do, and what it was like to play Slayers.
Hi, I'm Vic. I do games and make games sell pretty, I guess is a good way of saying that. I really enjoy Slayers specifically because of how easy the pickup is, and I think that's a massive appeal for players of all ages. And it's also theming that I am very, very particular about. I enjoy monster hunting a lot. The one time I ran it, we did a BPRD like adventure, and that was a lot of fun. I feel as though it's interesting to play a supporting role in this game because I wasn't used to it, and I was very nervous that I was like doing it incorrectly. But I enjoyed it because that's the kind of role I never get an opportunity to play in RPGs. Because usually it's like, oh, we're just going to heal. There's no buff debuff element. And it was nice to see how that was implemented in a very subtle way in this class, especially because it's waiting. It's a time mechanic for it. And I enjoyed that because that was an interesting way of allowing that to work, because I don't tend to think of time that way. I don't think time in rounds. I think usually in how many things I can shove into a single thing that is buff debuff, and it was cool to see that actually just play out gradually. I feel like that's an element that I don't usually get the opportunity to mess around with.
That's awesome. Did you have any questions that you wanted to ask Spencer? Also, if you're out there watching right now and you have questions, go ahead and type them in the chat, or later is also fine. I'll let Spencer know you asked a question, but if you have them right now, ask them right now. But Vic, any questions you have for Spencer?
I'm trying to come up with something.
It's all right.
It's like I really in the same vein, it's more so a compliment of having that classes like tactician can exist within the mechanics is what's so awesome about the Slayer rule set, because you really do get to use a lot of classes that are traditionally in JRPG settings that I often don't see in a lot of monster hunting, specifically more Western centered RPGs. And that's it's more of a compliment than a question. I just really enjoyed being able to have that implemented even in the base rules as well.
Awesome. Love it. Let's hop up to Kevin. Kevin, tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online, but also what it was like to play Slayers.
Hi, I'm Kevin. I've been playing this game with you. I played Fan. My pronouns are currently he, him. You can find all my work at winconditions.com. That's NGUIEN, conditions.com, or at your local Applebee's, not an Outback. And you could also block and report all my accounts over at @knit_knack on all the socials. And I had a great time. I loved finally getting to play Slayers, and speaking particularly to Angela's design, Philosophems, if you go find her over on itch, designed for this class, the Worm Guardian, just like all these parts that getting to jam so many different parts into like Vic was saying, putting as many little interlocking pieces in an action, and they interlock so well, and it feels good, and it felt thematic, and I got to jump real high and squish a dude, which is something I've never done in a tabletop game, and I feel like I need a Strifer in every tabletop game now.
Once you do jump once.
Yes. Once you see the curvature of the earth, it's all you live for after that.
Yeah. Really, you can't go back. Your bones won't allow it.
Kevin, I'd love to hear if you have any questions for Spencer, but also, if it's all right, I would love to hear a little bit more about what you're designing for Slayer's Almanac.
Spencer, I want to know what consequences did our quest giver suffer for just being over by the window?
For being by the
and
for
really betraying the order and the
yeah,
order.
She was she was fine. She didn't get caught. She had every intention of doing it so that you all would have been seen. So she's fine. But whether or not you're okay with her being fine is now up to you, because they're not cool.
No. Yeah, clearly. They're called the Order.
Right, exactly.
Well, about my district in the Almanac, I am designing an ethnic enclave within the city for Slayers, and I'm really excited. It's going to be a sort of a city for those not familiar with the term. An ethnic enclave is a sort of those would be your Chinatowns, your Koreatowns, those kinds of things. It's a specific part of a urban space in which people of a similar culture or people of very similar cultures sort of gather in, sort of both due to being pressured to be there by outside forces, also for the safety and comfort of themselves, and sort of what life is like for a refugee population in a city in that space, and how there is this push and pull to both assimilate and sort of stay unique in that way, and also the drama of sort of drawing on history, specifically American San Francisco Chinatown history, the sort of cultural organizations, so to speak, which have been labeled as gangs by authoritarian organizations, and their struggles within that, and how they both serve the community and also kind of manipulate it in a way.
Man, I love that.
I know. I saw that pitch. I was like, oh yeah, Kevin's in. Done.
Yeah. That's awesome. Let's hop over to Rue. But I will say this, Rue, there's a question they've asked everybody in the cast, but if you want to work it into yours, we can swing back around for everybody else. But after you tell us who you are, what you do, and what it was like to play Slayers, that's Barnaby wants to know for each of us what was the favorite part of the class that we chose, playing the class that we chose also too. So yeah.
Cool. Hello, everyone. I'm Rue. Pronouns are she, her. You can find my games at rue7.itch.io, and then just more about me on my Twitter at cherrydrop, which is just all one word. I do a lot of different things. Do a little bit of game writing, including for this Slayer's Almanac. Yeah, I'll work that favorite part of the class into this portion. I just love the vibe of the Aetheral Desperado, which is the playbook I was playing. I think I might be a little different than everyone. I actually have very little familiarity with Final Fantasy as like a video game. I have almost none.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I know nothing about it.
It's
So when you
just
all
me.
chose them, I was like,
I watched Final Fantasy and then Children.
It was a miracle. I was like,
I played a lot of early Final Fantasies and middle Final Fantasies, but anything post 10 or any of the online primary games, I'm just like, I don't know.
made so
Yeah.
many jokes and nobody laughed at any of them, and I
Oh,
knew
no.
because of like,
Sorry. I played 7, but it's because it's my friend's favorite, and so she was just talking me through it. Like I was streaming to just her, and then she like talked me through it. I've gotten stuck at a door, and I have not picked it up since. But I love this this gunslinger, and I knew like if I was playing a gunslinger, I couldn't just be like the usual like hot shot gunslinger, so which is why they were this nervous wreck of a human being, just a chaotic mess of a person. I actually really love these attack actions that Angela created for this class. Both the you get to switch between the wildfire rifle and the bot bullet. So a rifle that has the ability to kind of like continue to do burst damage, and then a turret that lets you target on to a target, and then if you are able to mark them as a target, they lose 1 HP at the start of each turn, either for 3 turns or until they're dead, which is ridiculous. I just love the way that these were created. And I like that it lets you lean into like the risk of not making your shots. Like the wildfire rifle, it made it interesting that it's a higher threshold. So you're just like, I really hope I get this first one, because then I can just keep keep going like a chaotic mess. So I just really, I loved playing this. And for questions, I'm trying to think. I guess what was like kind of the idea behind creating this like ever like expanding city, like having this setting that's kind of like undefined and constantly growing? I love that idea.
it's a couple of things. One is that when I usually run games, we end up like sticking in a city and we're there forever, and like so I don't want to be stagnant. So I created an environment that is infinitely expanding, so that you could every session in theory be in a totally different place. The other thing is that when I was originally designing Slayers, it wasn't going to be released as one book, but instead as sort of like little monthly pieces. And so you would get a new district like every month or so, and you would get the ability to kind of like piece together what the city would be over time, because I didn't want to fully define it all at the beginning, because I'm not creative enough to come up with an entire city's worth of districts all at once. So I said, oh, it goes on forever, and I'll fill you in later about what it's going to be. So that's sort of the mentality behind it.
I love that. Yeah, I do like that about it, because there's definitely like some playthroughs of things that I've seen where it's like, it's cool that people are really getting entrenched in a location, but then you're there, and then that's where you are. And it's I love that it's kind of built into the system that you want to move locations and that they should be extremely different. Like you can start in a forest and the next location is like on the beach.
Yeah. Well, and I love the concept that you can do the entrenching in a place like this. Like we could spend a season of our show figuring out what's happened in Wicker Park, right? Or we could be like, hey, we're here for an episode and we kill the monster. We just keep on going to the next place, right? And I actually love that flexibility in the model. I think it's just so sharp. Rue, tell us a little bit about what you're designing for Slayer's Almanac.
Yeah. So my district is built around kind of South Asian superstitions and astrology. It wasn't specified, but it also is a bit of an ethnic conclave. Most of the citizens in that area would be South Asian in descent. And it's just a place where magic is kind of a usual occurrence, a usual daily occurrence that everyone has access to. But there is a set of magical guilds that kind of fight for power in the region. There is one that's set at the moment as like the current reigning magical guild. And there are a few other like smaller guilds that are vying for power underneath that. And then in addition to using kind of superstitions in their magic, so I plan on kind of throwing in some things that I grew up with into the storyline. The location itself is ever changing, so the citizens are able to alter the location kind of to not benefit them, but kind of to like be more convenient. So if they're like walking and they need to get to their uncle's place, they're like, yeah, I'm gonna just push these stores aside and then walk through it and shift this up into a bridge. And sorry, Auntie, I'm just gonna come right underneath your house. Really need to get this package through. Yeah, so the location kind of fits the citizens. So Slayers coming in are good luck to them for that navigation process.
Love it. I can't wait to check it out. Also, if any of y'all think of any other questions you want to ask, let us know. If you're watching right now, you have any questions, let us know. I do know that's Barnaby also says, I haven't seen this game played before, but I'm looking at it and will there be more classes or roles in the future, or are they flexible enough to allow room for variety? I think especially with the Almanac coming up, what can we expect? I know you're adding a lot of districts. What can we expect to maybe see as far as classes go? And there is another installation in the Slayers universe, right? And so do you want to talk about maybe Dust a little bit, the Almanac, and then what people can expect as far as classes go?
Yeah, so Dust is the first official Slayers supplement that's taking like a district and putting 40 pages to it instead of like the more condensed version, which is the Almanac. So Dust is filled with a deep dive into a particular district that I made, and it has a new class called the Deadeye in it. In terms of, they are a long rifle, arcane-eyed long rifle individual. It's very cool. It's a very cool class. I'm very happy with it. In terms of other classes, there's not going to be any new classes in the Almanac. The Almanac is going to be setting stuff for these folks to be able to write, just go wild and just write whatever they want about their settings and not have to worry about mechanical implications of it. So in terms of other classes, I'll just say that if you go to the Slayers page, there should be a link to all the third-party stuff, because there's like a million classes out there right now. Angela, who made all the classes that we made tonight, has made 17, I believe, Final Fantasy themed classes alone. But there's this, if you find the Slayers Jam on itch, there's a bunch of people who made stuff for that. There's got to be like 30 or more classes out there that I haven't made that are really, really cool that I highly recommend folks check out.
Yeah. I had an absolute blast playing mine, and we were even talking right beforehand, like there are some people out there who have made classes that are fully unplayable and just fun explorations of the idea of what can be done in Slayers also too. But if you want to play a game of chess every single time you want to do an action. You can, as one of your character things. I think it's incredibly robust, very flexible. I think lots of times when you go with more minimalist systems, people think they're more delicate, but they actually tend to be far more hardy, and able to fit a lot more things in there without any worrying about balance or breaking things. I've absolutely loved the skill list you have. Like, I'm very skill list critical a lot of the time in games because they oftentimes seem like, oh, when or how would you use this skill? But there were points where each of us like made use of skills in the middle of combat, and I think that's a sign of a skill list that's well built, in a game that is very combat centric, that still understands what those support skills should look like, both in just the normal RP section of things, but also in the middle of combat. I was very thrilled to watch how easy it was to throw one of those in and know what it was going to do in the heat of the moment, or just be like, hey, we're not in combat and I want to know more about this. How do I do that? So I thought the skill list alone was really well done. And I loved just the dice alignment attribute and the progression attribute that we didn't get into at all. My favorite part of the class I played was, and especially somebody who likes 7, was a huge, like I played the earlier Final Fantasies, but 7 was obviously a huge groundbreaker for me that I spent way too many times playing, when I started playing in high school and then again as a young adult. I love limit breaking, and my character definitely had a built-in place where it was like, hey, every time I switched my attack ability, all of my attacks got a little bit easier, which made me not, I don't know what like I said, I don't have any sense of the range of damage as far as how much people do. I don't think it's a ton, but like I could attack really quickly and do like 4 damage, or I could take my time and do damage over time if I wanted to. And depending on which summons I initially invested in, I could have been more of a melee person, or like focused a lot on movement and control. I went a pretty blended route, but I loved how flexible mine was. And I loved that after I had split up 2 times, I could basically get an automatic success on an attack. So I could know I was going to succeed on my 3rd attack no matter what, because it's basically like rotate through 2 different types of attacks. Your 3rd one will automatically hit. And so mine was a character that was really designed to say, hey, you've got these other things you're going to do that are going to manipulate and control things. They're going to do some damage also too. Some that do less damage but have more control attributes. But also your 3rd thing, you always have the option to just automatically succeed if you keep on rotating through them, which was very cool and fun to play with as we kind of dived in to that. So I also love asparagus. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Like I want to be on the record
Great vegetable.
for it. And so I think that was all. Do I have a question for Spencer, which is the thing I always ask other people. I think you answered some of mine. Do you have plans for more classes in the future? Like, I mean, you're doing the almanac now, right? Could we anticipate that in the future we might see more collections that specifically have more classes in them? Or like, what are we wanting to do with Slayers as you kind of progress past the almanac?
Yeah, I will probably return to Slayers and do something with it. Almanac is going to be my last big project on it for a little while. What I'm working on now is a game called Drifters, which is my first Slayers hack. So it works under the same rules as Slayers, but it, in the asymmetry of classes and using that rule of 4+, but it changes a few things. And you play as cursed gunslingers wandering a wasteland, which is just like, if you know me, that's just my shit. I love that so much. So if you dig Slayers, I think you'll really like Drifters. It's a very similar vibe and plays very similarly, but I don't consider it necessarily like just more Slayer stuff. I'm trying to make it its own thing as well, so that if you're familiar with Slayers, you can dive right into Drifters, but you won't feel like it is totally the exact same thing that you had seen before. So that's my next kind of Slayers-esque plan. It's up on the early draft is up on my Patreon right now for folks who want to check that out. And I was actually just working on it right before this stream.
Awesome. Well, I love it. Did anybody else have any questions? If not, we're going to pop over and let Vic and Kevin talk about what their favorite part of their characters were. Cool. Vic, do you want to tell what was your favorite part of your character?
Oh, I thought I kind of.
I think you kind of did, but just we'll hit it again hard.
I enjoy any time a game allows stacking. We didn't really like. I wasn't really able to explore it as much, but like thankfully, because then if we would have been stacking that, who knows how exciting that would be. But I love the idea that the component was I could continue to pile seeds as long as they did damage to somebody, or as long as they did damage to somebody, or if it harmed the HP. There was the phrasing of that was horrendous, and I am sorry. But I love stacking mechanics, specifically when it has. So it was a similar thing to what you were saying, Tony, about just being able to build things up, and how it very much is something that comes up a lot from those games. Like the stacking mechanic of, oh, this is going to be a low cost now, and I'm not really going to get anything out of it, but in a few rounds, this thing's screwed entirely. And that definitely, like, that's something that I enjoy the most in turn-based RPGs in general. Like with that, it felt very organic to what I'm used to playing with, and that doesn't come up very often, especially in the sometimes hits things games. I mean that in a very positive way. It's just so I always feel compelled to, you gotta hit the thing right now, and I'm like, but I just want to sit here and drink a cup of tea, like, but help still.
Love it. Kevin, how about you?
I also like the fact that things stack, and like specifically for the Worm Guardian, things stacked really well between the different jump maneuvers and the advancements and the sort of various spears things. But I also like, I don't think I mentioned before, is that it's a gamble with a lot of these things. Like some of these things that you're stacking, that you're like building up to, like they don't necessarily pay off. Like throwing that spear was a gamble. You get the benefit of getting that extended range, but if you whiff it, or like even if you do hit, you gotta go across the battlefield. You gotta spend that movement to go and get it back. And or like the I forget Angela's phrasing for it, the mechanic with the attack where you can take disadvantage voluntarily in order to get additional benefits if you hit on that attack. And I like that, like sort of gambling, or like sort of weighing out the your benefits and your drawbacks in order to, like, can I afford these drawbacks in order for this really good benefit? But those in conjunction with all of these interlocking pieces, like that mechanic where you voluntarily take disadvantage stacks up really well with the Dragon Eye mechanic, where you can spend Dragon Eye to up your die size, so that increases your chances. Even though I did that and I still whiffed, which I also love, because like that's the game. Like you take that big risk, and like sometimes you lose, and that's great. I like that as much as hitting it, because like it's no fun if you just hit it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is sometimes, but not in that specific instance, I think.
I also just love the idea that your character particularly was always doing really cool badass spins and jumps, and just sometimes missing, which like for a JRPG feel is like the animation is always the same. Whether or not you hit is just a random thing in the background. you can't discern the difference between why it didn't happen, right? And so exactly. It was a very, very good feel. I've thought of twice now a question I specifically wanted to ask Spencer, and then I've totally spaced on it twice also too, and specifically what it was. So maybe I'll remember it at some point in time. Maybe I won't. But Spencer, one more time, tell people a little bit about what they can expect for the upcoming campaign.
Yes, and I also remembered one other thing. You asked me what other things people can expect from Slayers, and one thing that you can expect is the Slayers 1.5 update is coming soon-ish, I'll say. I got the rules at it. Basically, it's not a new second edition of Slayers. I finally got it edited, which is already a good start from where it was before. But on top of that, we've just streamlined a lot of things in the game. We've made things even faster, cleaned up some numbers, made some things a little bit more exciting. So, and everybody who owns Slayers on itch is going to get that for free. So that update will just come through in the near future. I'm not going to put a date on it because I don't know yet. But we are here because the Slayer's Almanac is launching on Tuesday morning. I'm extremely excited for it. 10 really talented, amazing authors and designers are contributing to this book. So if you like Slayers, if you want a really cool setting book, honestly, you could use this setting book for any game because it's not going to be full of mechanics that are linked to Slayers. So if you just dig this idea of a cursed infinite city with a bunch of unique districts, this book could still be for you. But if you like what you saw tonight, Slayer's Almanac will be launching on Tuesday, October 12th.
Awesome. And there are a ton of other, like, if you're a Troika fan, you should pick back Slayer's Almanac, right? Like, you drop it into Troika City. If you're a Down We Go fan, back Slayer's Almanac, because you can drop them into Infinitopolis. Like, there's a ton of cool ways you can use a setting like this, even if it's just like the town your folks are going to show up at in the next step of their adventure. It's a very cool place and a way to have some really kind of rich settings that you can drop in that are going to be each uniquely interesting and that bring a ton of amazing voices together. So I'm super excited to watch the campaign grow and happen. But go check it out. We'll drop that link down below in the chat in just 1 second. But until next time, we don't have a good way that we close out stream. So we're all just going to wave at the camera until I take us offline. Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'll never turn it off. One time I am just going to let it run for a long time and no one will ever know.